sleepy, nighty, snoozy snooze.
The timing. Right. Hello. Hey, folks. Happy Monday. Welcome to the start of another week. And tonight, you join us for the grand finale of our Landmark series. We've been doing this over the last 7 weeks. And, well, tonight, friends, we return, yes, to the Emerald Isle for a flight down around the south coast. Tonight's landmark is that of Ross Castle. Now, this goes back to a time in Ireland not an awful lot of people know about. It's about kind of ruling families or clans, kind of kingdoms, and they're all kind of jostling for position for what they thought was going to be, you know, having the crack. But Ross Castle, built in the late 15th century, well, it resides here, just off the Killarney Lakes. And in Killarney, County Kerry, down the very southwest of Ireland. Beautiful part of the world. And, well, the castle has been restored. It's been looked after and they keep it pretty much the way it was. Back then, this would have been a towering sight. You're talking, this would have stood tall over all the forests, beautiful views of the lake and of the surrounding mountains. And, well, it is there we are going to visit this evening. We're going to start off from Waterford Airport, Echo India Whiskey Foxtrot. Right, Waterford. And from Waterford, we're going to track down the south coast, kind of Dungarvan, Lismore, and then we're going to ramble into Cork. Cork by into Cork International Airport, Echo India Charlie Kilo. From Cork, we're going to ramble out to Bantry Bay. It's one of my favourite places to go to. And, well, that's one, Echo India Bravo November. It may not be there as a default runway in your sim. Nighthawk put up a link to some freeware, but rest assured, there's a bit of a runway there just off Widdy Island. So after Bantry, if we survive, we will start tracking north, passing places like Carrontool as we ramble on into the kingdom. Kerry is the kingdom, and then over the Killarney Lakes. We'll get a good view of Ross Castle. And then our final stop of the night will be in Killarney, in Farran 4, down at the International Airport, Echo India Kilo Yankee. Our aircraft tonight, well, we're flying in something very near and dear to me heart. It is that of a de Havilland, Canada, a DHC-1 Chipmunk. This aircraft, and many more like it, they were used for training, and they were replaced the very old at the time Tiger Moths. And well, the Chipmunk, especially used on this side of the pond, you know, the US had their own, right? But the Chipmunk, the aircraft in particular, there's a photograph of me granddad standing outside 170, which was the fleet number. Then there's a photograph of my dad years later, not even organised, and he's standing outside of 170. And then there's a photograph of me flying inside 170 years later after that. 3 generations. And these saw active use in the Irish Air Corps from the 50s to the kind of mid to late 70s. And just a beautiful little plane. It would blow over now in a gust of wind. In fact, a good sneeze would knock this thing out of the sky. But it's a beautiful airplane. And our option of, well, the only one available in Flight Sim is from Airplane Heaven. It's an old enough add-on. But it works, and it works well in 2024. So that is our chariot, my friends, for this evening's flight, as we shall learn about Ross Castle, but also give you a bit of a kind of a sneak peek into an upcoming series later on in the year, all about Irish history. Now, I am terribly biased on this, the eve of St. Patrick's Day, but the history of this small island, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, you know, almost adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. We're in the top left-hand corner of Europe. Nothing else really around us apart from the lads up in Iceland, or the Faroes up in the Faroe Islands. And then, of course, we have the UK beside us. But our history, well, it goes back quite a long time. And Ireland tend to be kind of, let's not venture in there. They don't look like they're the most friendliest people. And their weather is absolutely shocking. But they couldn't be more wrong about the first point. We're terribly friendly, but yes, our weather is terrible. In fact, the Romans gave us a name. It called it Hiberniae, or Hibernia, which was land of eternal winter. It pretty much summed it up in the old Latin, you know, conjugate the verb to go, domani. Right, but it's a fascinating island, and okay, the last kind of 100 years, the last 200 years of Irish history is it's quite turbulent, right? But certainly, you know, from the earliest start right up to the modern day, a lot of fascinating stuff here. And for a country that's so small and tiny, Jesus, there's buttons. For a country that's so small and population, all the rest, we spread out well. Do you know, we got a good old saturation over the place. So we'll do a bit of learning on that tonight. A button was pressed. And there was no mad sound effects, but I imagine Boise has broken the machine. It'll do it now in a minute. I'm sure of it. The Boise gifting 10 gifted tier 1 subs. Then Steiny did that before. Why wasn't there all... It's doing that and then it'll do a big loud one, I'd say. The bot is already shagged. Let's not mention the war. But anyway, hope you're all keeping well. The Boise, thank you very much indeed, lads. If you got a tier 1 sub there with thanks to the Boise, do be sure to say thank you. And of course, if you got one from Steiny, Frankenstein, well, do be sure to say thank you to him as well. Incredible support as we start off. Brilliant. And of course, today is the day before St. Patrick's Day. There's a great skit from Tommy Tiernan all about how this all came to be, right? We needed a pint. Yes, St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. We have a longer stream tomorrow. Kickoff is much earlier. We'll be starting 5 hours earlier than today at 1500 Zulu time, and we'll rock on, and we're going to be doing lots of flying in and around Ireland, and then towards the end of the night we're going to be doing a virtual fly-in over to Lelystad in the Netherlands in preparation of FS weekend, which is happening this very weekend coming. So it is all happening now, lads. Right, the devil's driving me demented. Is there any chance of a point? But anyway, you're all very welcome in, and hope you had a great weekend. We caught up a little bit yesterday. We did some flying in the caravan. Today was a productive day. Yes, I pressed buttons and started getting stuff ready for FS weekend. If you find me at FS weekend, ask me for some merch. Don't even say hello. Just say merch. I have a bit of merch. So we have like these highly sought after, limited edition, lanyards. I didn't have a box of them. So there's lanyards, and I also got pens. And if you remember from Expo, Jay, there, look, see, I told you to go off. Buttons. Jesus, the Boise, you got 10 individual call-outs and the big loud gadget at the end. I mean, Jesus, if that isn't encouragement, lads, right? But yeah, lanyards, door holder gadgets and pens. Yeah, brilliant. So make sure you see me. You'll hear me, and if you can't see me, I'm hard to miss, but if you can see me, you'll hear me. Right, I'd be the lad talking very loud. I'm like this in the real world. The lads will tell you, Gibbo Muse and Adam will tell you. But before we start, I want to wish 3 very important birthdays. Every birthday is important, and when I get to see them on our Discord channel, I'm like, hoo-ha, happy birthday. But a happy birthday goes out tonight to our very own old veteran 965, to the lady who's upside down, Mrs. TPHI, and of course to our very own Cian Lafford. 3 birthdays today, brilliant stuff. Get up the hill there now, and a very happy birthday. So, hope you all have a great day. Do you know, it's younger looking you're getting, well, except for Scott, because he gives me abuse. I'll give him some abuse, right? I'm only joking. You look younger, Scott. But a very happy birthday to you. So, yes, it's all go, lads. It's all go. This aircraft, this flight plan, I'm very much kind of, sure, isn't it only grand? Now, the weather in Ireland, get this, isn't very suitable for VFR flying conditions. So I've just gone with a couple of clouds. Also, a shout out to Kanzui. He's been working on the Wing Link Alpha plugin, which effectively, it's a small little client you download if you're on the PC, pop it in to your desktop or whatever, run the application, put in your call sign or your nickname, and then join the group. You want to click on join a group, and the group code is TTM. Tango Mike or twotonemurphy, but it's TTM. And when you do, you get an overlay up on your screen. It'll show you what pilots are connected, and you can track the location of any pilot who's flying in the group. The idea being is, well, the way multiplayer works in Microsoft Flight Sim, you don't always, you can't always see who's around you. The sim will only load X amount of folks. So if you wanted to figure out who's around with you, well, that's the gadget that we use. You see? So that's what we're going to be doing. But anyway, buttons. Sure, listen. You're all very welcome in. It's great to see you. We got a video out today. Whoop to divil. I was there on Saturday night, and I have like other videos I'm working on. But I was talking to funny screen name, Homewrecker, and he's a man from Cork. We won't hold it against him, but he's like, he says, Murph, it'd be handy if there was an old video to help folks transitioning from the console to the PC, or even new people to the sim. And I was like, yes, that's a great idea, because Scott was then saying, yeah, sure, not everything's relevant these days. You could be looking at videos from 3 or 4 years ago. hasn't changed an awful lot, but it's still changed. So I think this is another one of these YouTube series. Hopefully you'll find helpful. And if there is anything specific you'd like to be shown or to learn a little bit more about, let me know. I'm more than happy to make a video. Me! I'm always happy to make a video. Sure, I just recorded myself talking. Brilliant! But you know what I mean? I'll go off and do a bit of research. And what we can do in a live stream is great. So always ask. If you've ever a question, this is live. There's no script, despite me efforts, right? There's no script. So if you ever have a question, just ask. It's a live environment. Some people will sit down and have it on the telly. Shh, say nothing now. You know, it's like the 9 o'clock news, except, you know, you can say things to me. It's mad, isn't it? This new technology, this new medium of media. There's no script. What's the prompter for then? Yeah, right, I've been caught out there, but apart from that, you know, I didn't actually use my prompter tonight. Shag off, give up, will you? I didn't actually. That's all from, right. Every other time I might use the prompter. But that's for prompting. I don't read the script. Hang on, we'll try it. Hello, everyone. You're very welcome to tonight's stream. I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? I look like a friggin' rabbit in headlights when I'm trying to read. You know, but anyway. Brilliant. CP is here. Good evening. Happy Monday, buddy. Vacuum is in the house. Welcome aboard. Super Typhon. Do hope the dental things have sorted themselves out and you're back in the land of comfort and all as well. Cyrus T. Very good evening to you. The man of teal has rambled in. Good to see you, Cyrus. Tanish Mossman is here. Yeah, baby. Monday flyage. Indeed, it is. It's currently 11 degrees here in Tipperary. It was 2 degrees this time yesterday. The weather shagged. But anyway, it's all happening now. Wolfard is here. Good evening. Fierce Wolf, looking fierce. And Wolfie. Good to see you, bud. Who else came in the door? The Boise, a very good evening. And thank you again for the 10 gifted tier 1 subs. Liptorius. How's she cutting, man? Sir Camsalot, my dude from Agoshlon Nua, welcome aboard. Flipper Alloy is here. Malky Mac, a very good evening. Put him under pressure. Bit of tune is right. Go on, Ireland. But yes, Soaring AJ. AJH man, happy Monday. Eamon 1973 is here. Happy Monday flyage. Indeed. Bell Bro, a very good evening. Culkin is here. And Sir Camsalot, Jesus, 475 streams in a row. I mean, would you come on away out of it, Eileen? 475 of them. Thank you very, very much indeed. That's a record, I'd say, is it? Commander Balosh, good evening. APU Inspector is here. Hope all is well. Boise, thank you for the 7 in a row. AZ Blue Line, 50-month Prime subscription. Thank you very, very much indeed, buddy. Malky, thank you for 55. The Impossible Face is here. He says, happy Monday all. Send help. I'm flying a tail dragger. Jesus. Sunjammer is here. Welcome aboard. Alson is here. 98 Vulcan. Hope you're well. El Barto, a very good evening. And, well, Wolf has watched 3 in a row. Thank you very much indeed. Larry is here. Good evening. Now, let me see. Viper Strike is in the house. Good evening, Viper. Shuffle Shoes. Shuffles in. AJH John. Happy Monday. Steiny is here. And thank you very much indeed again for those 10 gifted, Steiny. Legend. Mac Vision, good evening. Steve C is here. He says, a good afternoon from a snowy Chicago. Snow. Jesus. It was spitting kind of sleet there last night, do you know? But yeah, mad weather, lads, mad weather. Wills 1985, a very good evening to you, sir. Hope you're well. Creo is here. Hello to everyone in County Mayo. Hope all is well. Now, let me see here now. Be the Jays. Is it Desert Fox? Good evening. Hope you're well, buddy. Spitfire, Oriev 100. Happy Monday to you, man. Idle Cutoff. He says, how are you, Murph? Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipperary. Good to see you, man. Sumner is here. How are you, Murph and Fireflies? I'm back in Naples, Florida from a week at the Players' Championship. A tough week for Rory and Shane. Indeed. Hope you're well, man. Krabby1 is here. 21 subscribed. Thank you very much indeed. It's good to see you. Well, hello, he says. Angry B is here. Welcome aboard. Now, where's this now? Then Steiny pressed a whole load of buttons, the mad thing. Filthy, good evening. Arch NDA came in with a raid. Arch, thank you very much indeed. Hope you had an awesome stream, and a massive welcome to all your viewers. You're most welcome. Pull up a chair, and we're going to go flying in about 1 minute and 12 seconds. Yes. I'm over here now, look. Steiny, thank you, buddy, thank you. Sai120, good evening. Hope you're well. Who else come in the door here now, look? Norse Viking Gaming, happy Monday. Strap21, hola. welcome in. Kozaki Flyers here. Snow today, tornadoes yesterday. Alabama in spring. Yes, yes, but also no. Grimmy McGinn is here. 6 months, man. Jesus, thank you very much indeed. It's great to see you. Mech Manser is here for 34 months. Thank you very much indeed. Lads, the support tonight is absolutely crazy. Thank you very, very much indeed. Now, let me see. Muse fan bursts in the door. Wait now, what was he carrying? With some lovely fajitas. Right. Did you bring some to share? No? Right. Good evening, Muse. Hope you're well, buddy. Old Veteran 965. Scott is here, and a very happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you're having a great day. Proby Pete, hello from Arizona. Hello from Tipperary. Good to see you. Solid Mocha, the music is melting. You might have to do an old Shift F5 or a refresh of your browser. It can do that sometimes. Hayden UK, good to see you, buddy. A very happy Monday to you. Mrs. TPHI, upside down, inverted, and doesn't care, has rambled in. Happy birthday, Mrs. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great day, and that Mr. TPHI is spoiling you rotten. Right. Now, Daddy Pump, good evening. Kanzui, hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, buddy. Who else come in? Stu Snape is here. Evening, Murph. Hope you're well. Happy St. Patrick's Day Eve, where most of us in the UK are getting ready to pretend to be Irish. Everyone in the world pretends they're Irish on Paddy's Day. Oh, yeah. I have this cousin related to a bartender who knew this neighbour who had a limp. He was Irish, therefore, I'm Irish. So we're all Irish, lads. You might as well admit it. We're all Irish, We infested. That's what we did. We didn't need to colonise or take over. We infested. We stayed for the crack. Pints and crack. But yes, good to see us, Stu. The impossible face, indeed. Now, we're catching up here, look. Anthony V. Warbirds over Wanaka. English. I nearly said something mad. Warbirds over Wanaka organisers have publicly announced that the event is still very much on despite soaring aviation fuel prices. Yeah, I saw that, and I went on to my Air New Zealand app earlier on because I was like, geez, they've cancelled like 1,100 flights. Jesus, we mightn't get home to Kansas at all. They cancelled 1,100 flights, but so far, touch wood, we're all right. Do you know? So we'll see what happens. Now, let me see. Bjanie then. Rob MCR, good evening. Thank you for 70 in a row. LG Dan is here. Welcome in. Now, who else come in the door? Stick Figure, welcome. Gibbo Ireland is in the chat. Good to see a man. Not long now. There'll be Murph, there'll be Gibbo, there'll be Muse, and there'll be Adam, and the four lads will be going away into the sunset over to the Netherlands. On a mission, an away mission, That's what we'll treat it as. It's a Star Trek away mission. Yep, that's exactly what this is going to be. But you're very welcome in. Good to see you, Gibbo. Another flight in Ireland where he avoids RD again. Now, you wait for tomorrow, will you, Muse? It's all planned for tomorrow, fella. St. Patrick's Day, where we're going to fly nowhere near RD. Hey, I'm only joking, but yeah, I'm not really. It doesn't look great in the sim. Doesn't look great in real life either, says you. That's terrible, isn't it? I'm only joking. We'll go to RD, so you better make it look nice. Hey, the castle's kitchen must be finished by now. Oh Jesus, don't mention them. Got to get a new haircut, says Krabby One. I don't know. I was going to, but I'm at the stage now. If I cut this shagging thing, it's like the more hair I cut away, the more, skull appears, more brain protective cavity. Right. But to be very careful. Oh, wait, you could be talking. Maybe Krabby One wants to get his own haircut. In that case, I'll shut up now. Yes, Krabby One, you should get your haircut. I think it's a great idea. Flying Tonight is here. Good to see you. Hello, you crazy kids. Welcome in, buddy. Right, Toto2495 has rumbled into the chat. Very good evening to you. Hope you're well. And regards to the missus. Where is this now? Vex is here. Can't wait for a DH Comet. Oh, a Comet would be lovely, Vex, wouldn't it? It'd be amazing. Right, I better get Watson now. I bet that Gibbo will not care about Irish history. I think he will. He actually, in actual fact, Gibbo said if I was ever going to do history, we'd just do Irish history. Everything else he couldn't really worry about. But I think it's the Irish history he wanted. But it's still history. We'll find a way to bore him. Don't worry. Crafty, a very happy Monday to you, bud. Now, let me see. There are loads of buttons here. There's all the Boise stuff. The man is a legend. And Mr. Paulie has rambled in. Good evening. I can break anything, me, says the Boise. Absolutely. It is Patty's Day. It's not Patty. It's Paddy. There's no T's. Paddies. If you hear anyone saying Happy Paddy's Day, hit them a kick in the left shin. And as they go, slap them with your right hand into the lower jaw. Paddy. Now, the devil's driving me demented. Indeed it is. Right, we're over here. Let me see. Nighthawk, good evening. Hope you're well. Adam Controls is here. Welcome aboard. Where is this now? Dazza Arab has rambled in saying, well now. Hello, hello. It's good to see you, Dazza. Hope you're well, buddy. And, well, hello to all the Dazzas, Mrs. Dazza included. Hope you're keeping very well. P.S. Miranda, hello there. Good evening. Photos by Kev. It is definitely Monday now. Unlike yesterday, that fake Monday. Nearly ruined our day, Kev. But you're very welcome in. Heisenberg is here. Good evening. Hope all is well, buddy. Where should do a dance for subs, shouldn't he? What? Shag off. Desert Fox says, Murph, the Irish Emigration Museum was a decent experience when I was in Dublin for a couple of days. One of the core messages was wherever in the world you are, if you're Irish, you're Irish. Thoughts? If you're Irish, you're Irish. Yeah, you are. You can't get away from it, like. But we've a very strange culture here. Do you know, like the Irish culture, we tend to confuse a lot of people. We tend to scare a lot of people. But I can assure you, we're a very likeable, friendly bunch. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't always look like that. You know, when we have certain people who, you know, represent us in certain things. You know, Newton, I'll pump the head off you. That idiot, right? Or you might have other people like, it's Mr. de Higgins. Right. But in general, you know, we're a great bunch of lads. Great bunch of lads of the Irish. But, yeah, man, it's all good. Where is this now? We're catching up. Oh, Jesus. Livtorious. Yes, indeed. All the happy birthdays coming in for the lads. Brilliant. Let me see. Cracker, good evening. Mr. TPHI is here. Welcome aboard, buddy. Speaking of Cork, in a meeting this morning during small talk, one of the lads from India asked, have you ever been to Londonderry? One of the other lads from Cork had some strong opinions in correcting him. Yes, I can imagine that went down very well. Jesus. Now, let me see. Good video, Murph. Waiting for the Gibbo interpretation. Interpretation? Brilliant. There's no script. Squished. Right, now we're over here. There was once a man from Cork. Yeah, we know that one. This is life. It seems to be such... It seems to be so smooth that it's heavily edited for hours. Oh, wait, this is live. Yes. See, I read it as you typed it and then you realised and I realised. Mr. TPHI, we're on the same frequency, you know. I mean, we're practically the same person. Right. Now, where's this now? Give it out. Swished. Oh, I'm a natural. Thanks very much. Two Dogs, good evening. I missed the name of the app to track your locations. It's called Wing Link. It's available over on our Discord. Right? That's where you can grab it. UTB, good evening. It was 30 yesterday. This morning, 1. Jesus. Febro is here, good evening. Hope you're well. Cobbo, welcome aboard. Now, let me see. Macam Dad is here. 3 months with Prime. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much indeed for the support. John C, good evening. Wicked Lumberjacks is here. Velo, you're very welcome aboard. Weebles, good evening. Thunder and lightning last night and sideways rain, says Tarnish. Jesus. Corn Wolf, a very good evening. Happy Monday to you, buddy. Hope you're well. Add at least 1-0 to that minute estimate. It's grand. Right. It's pizza tonight. I got lazy. You got pizza. Now, hang on. Did you make pizza or did you order pizza? And if you made pizza, did you actually make the pizza or was it a frozen pizza you put into the gadget? Now, right... Call us intrigued. But yes, I'm Pierce. A very good evening. Kanzui says, Murph, you broke it again. Wait, what? Then I'll send you a newer file. Jesus. How did I break? I literally didn't touch it. But yes, okay, we'll do that. Proby Pete, thank you very much indeed. Jesus, 2,000 bits. The man throwing them around like confetti. Thank you very much indeed. Wheaty Gaming, good evening. Hope you're well. Right, we're nearly there now, lads. My green shirt is washed and ready for tomorrow. That's the spirit. Did the Irish invent the Irish? The Irish were indeed invented by the Irish. Yes.
Hello there.
Brilliant. Right, now, we're over here. Look, Doc Nader, hope you're well. Where's this now? Mr. Minimite is here, good evening. An away mission, just don't wear a red shirt. That's right. The red shirt fellas were off. Wait, I never understood that though. Because like Riker and Picard had red shirts, but they were safe because they were Riker and Picard. Yeah. Don't wear red. Right. They're going to recreate the parachute jump. The lads will try to push Murph out with the plane. Oh, Jesus, no. Hayden, thank you very much indeed. Gifting a tier 1 sub to Surly Dev. Thank you very much indeed, Hayden. Terribly nice gentleman, you. Sprockets is here, good evening. The one Monday where I can actually join the flight and your sim won't load. Jesus. It'd be grand. The decision would be which hair to cut. Well, it's good to see, Scott, that your sense of humour hasn't changed with your maturity of your age on your birthday. Shag off! Right, weather in the Netherlands is promising for the coming days. Once it's dry, I don't mind if it's cold. Jays was cold last year, but once it's dry, we're laughing. Jeez. Get yourself a wee wig. Martel is here, good evening. Did not mean a hair comment, man. No, we're grand. Flyer10, welcome in. 34 months, buddy. The Irish invented Twitch. Yeah, we did. My mum just cut me hair, but she can't see well. Uh-oh. Don't call it Paddy's Day. See? Muse knows the story. St. Paddy's Day was me mum Paddy's birthday. Ah, right. Okay. In a Box Man is here. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Black Eyes Gabe is here. Jesus! Gabe, I was wondering when you were going to come back from the realm. It was like that scene out of Game of Thrones, he went north of the wall. Come back, Gabe! I need to go to the north, No, Gabe, come back! And off he went. Out through the wall. But now he's come back. Gabe, it's good to see you. Tier 3, Jesus, 55 months. Happy St. Patrick's Day, buddy. Hope you're well. Where's this now? I'll donate 10 subs. If he doesn't dance. Ah, Jesus. Kev, do you ever see me dancing? No. Good. That won't ever change. Where's this now? It's always St. Patrick's Day when you're Irish, right? We scare ourselves. I'm telling you. You're our favourite leprechaun, Murph. Great to hear it. Gun-ho guy. I had an Irish girlfriend. Oh, the memories. Wait now. You had. What did you do to her? I just put her into storage. Right, Zybog Doc is here, calling from Denmark. Oh, Jesus. You're very welcome in. Where's this now? Muse doesn't have Bantry. I was sure I had it installed from before. Photos by Kev gifted 10 tier 1 subs, so Murphy wouldn't dance. Right, sorry lads, I was just about to jump up there and give an old jig. Can't happen now. Photos by Kev, thank you very much indeed for 10 gifted tier 1 subs. Lads, if you just got one, you be sure to say a thank you. Jesus, what was that on my screen? Very kind. There's buttons all over the place. Animal Doc, good evening and welcome aboard. Thank you very much indeed for the raid. I've been talking for the last 1 minute and 12 seconds, but we will be flying very soon. Planning a flight here in Ireland out of Waterford. We're going to be heading over to County Kerry. You're most welcome. Thank you very much indeed for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. Welcome in. And we'll welcome in raiders. Good evening and happy Monday. What came first, the Irish or the Irish? That was in our leaving cert. The Irish. Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah.
Hey, come on. You're going a bit mad there.
Whoa, now. The away mission should be no tribble at all. Oh, Jesus, tribble. The TNG security war yellow. Ask Tasha Yar. Poor old Tasha. Do you remember? We got a heat advisory for California. It's supposed to hit 90 degrees this week. What? Wow. A wee wig will not look good. Better with a head wig. If you dance, you'd fall through the floor. Jesus! Super tie! I mean, do you know? Emotions. Yeah, do you know what they are? Can I have mine back, please? Yeah, right, Lucky Bow, right, yeah, Jesus. Right, now, where are we? We're over here, things are getting serious. Yes, well done, Kev, indeed. Now, right. Cian Lafford is here. From Kerr in County Tipperary. Cian, a very happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you're well. Good evening. A flight in the rain and fog. Yes. Is it Kerry or Knock we're heading to? The route says EIKN. How long are you here now? Don't trust what I put up there. I've made a mistake. I'll have to fix it. It's not... we're not going to Knock. We're going to Kerry. I'll fix it. Balls. Right, now, Jesus. Murph had a thing for Beverly Crusher. No, I didn't. Well, no, I didn't. Then again, there was... No, I didn't. No, Jesus, Beverly. Shag off, will you, Beverly Crusher? No. That's actually an interesting name in a set like that. No, it would have to be... Back then, it would have to be Deanna Troy, you see. I've always considered myself a bit of a Riker, Gibbo said that to me once. Murph, you look just like Riker. Meanwhile, Gibbo spat out his pint, fired it at the telly and says, this fella's off his rocker. Right. Then again, I probably could have said that. But anyway, listen, let's move on. Speaking of emotions, your streams and many others I watch are at least my refuge from depression. Well, don't you worry. I'm the only Muppet who bad things can happen. For instance, did I show you? Look at me arm. Hang on. I need to show you that. What have I done? No. How do I? Well done, Murphy. You've done it now. You've shagged it. I've shagged.
Can I get a refund?
The whole thing, and now it won't. That's very bright. Turn that down. Look, I'm after shagging me lights. Look, trying to show you the scars that I nearly lost my entire arm. Why did that light go red? Oh, hang on. What? Whoa. There, they fixed it. Right, now, come over here without pressing that shagging button again, you muppet. Well, look! Me arm, look! Wait, hang on. Oh, yeah, there! Look! You can't really see it there now, but look, I can assure you there's a terrible scrape. And see me hand. Remember I was telling you I burst that off the wing control stuff? Nearly lost the whole arm. Right, you know. The things you do. It's now very bright in here. Turn that shagging thing down, will you? The electricity is, you know. But anyway, right, where am I? I'd rather have a thing for Councillor Troy, says the Scaredy Wolf. Yeah, right, you know what I mean? Everyone start typing, he thinks he's catching up with the chat. Shut up, will you? Don't do that. Crusher was no nurse. Wait, what? No, she was a doctor. Sure, he said a Riker. Dax, we're not going over to that, are we? Now let me see. Anoral, welcome in. Good to see you. But yeah, Super Ty, don't you worry about it. All is well in the realm. This is where we've come to forget about the troubles in life. And life's kind of, you know, this is where we hang out. It's safe. It's just us. It's not pretty safe, but it's just us, right? And all is well. He's got his zoom lens and hand almost look normal size. Wait, what? I managed to see it. Luckily, I had my magnifying glass. I was nearly disarmed. You know, I was. You know, the whole arm gone. Ah, Jesus. 1 minute 45. Well, hang on, we're not there yet. Jesus. Right, hang on now. We'll do a quick. These introductions only take a minute, lads. Don't be worrying. My coffee is here. Good evening. Sarah Doman, welcome aboard. Dave Cleary, legend Dave. Welcome in, Dave. We've no school tomorrow. It's St. Patrick's Day. We can stay up an extra 20 minutes. Angels15, good evening. Who's this now? Kid Coconut, welcome in. M. Morgan, good evening. Jake Mitchell is here. Captain Atlas, Bartman, happy Monday. James Wilding, good evening, James. Murph, why do I get 2 YouTube notifications every time you're on? But there's 2 streams, you see. One is a normal like this, and then the other is a vertical. That's probably why. And it's me. You know, I'm loud and stupid, right? You know, double it up. Joel Pilot, good evening. Kubi Montana is here. Black Sheep Jean, you're very welcome aboard. Will we be kissing the Blarney Stone tonight, or will that be tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'd say. Bit of tomorrow. Good to see you, Jean. J.O. Shanks is here. Welcome aboard. New PC, The Beast came today. Nice. I saw the pictures on Discord. Fantastic. Now, let me see. Trucks is here. You have Akin as the final location in the destination. Yeah, no, I've shanked it. I'll fix it. Right, now, let me see. Flyboy Dyer is here. Sci Voltage, good evening. The Limbics, you're very welcome aboard. Zappel's in the house. Pop-Tart the Brave, welcome in. I'd love to know what add-ons you need to complement others. For example, last night I realised that I need the TDS GT750. Ooh, I'll go through that soon, actually. I'll do a video on that. Yes, absolutely. I'm in a Tiger Moth. Ooh, nice. J.O. Shanks, Murph, Widowmaker here. Got the PC. J.O., brilliant. Now, let me see. Eric is here. Good to see you, buddy. Probably a DC3, man. Mark Swan, good evening. Hazard the Pilot is here. Welcome aboard. The last aircraft you flew was a DHC-1. Nice. Kieran Nile, good evening. Jerry Keaveney is here. Welcome aboard. And JB Alberta, welcome in. A very good evening. Hope you're all well. You're looking well. And right, we'll get started now. It's getting dark, Murph. Yeah, right. Right. I know you're busy, Murph, but would you be good to get an update on your current sim settings? Yes, I need to do one of those very soon. Right, now. Not a second to spare. Well, come on over here, look. Gelati is here, good to see you. It's pitch black. Shut up, will you? It's grand. Now, before we get started, I have to turn off stuff. I'm about to lose my mouse. I found my mouse. Right. I have to close this. Close that. Up there, you devil, you. And close. Right. That's the first bit of the jigsaw done, lads. The second bit of the jigsaw resides over here, over on Discord. Now, Murphy, you need to grab this one. I'll grab that one now. Don't you worry at all. All is well. All is well in the realm. We need to download this one. Downloading. It has downloaded. Open the file. Jesus. Right now. Hold. Open the archive. That's what we want. Let's see now. Bookkeep is here. Good to see you, bud. Right. Now, I want version 131. Now, we do one of these. We do one of those. We do one of these. We do one of those. And then we do one of these. Do. Appear. Appear. Blast you. Why won't you appear? I said appear. Pin to start. Yes. Ah, Jesus, Windows. I mean, just once, would you? Right. Hang on. Let me see. Unpin from start. Pin to start. Haha. Haha. Ooh. Right. Now, nobody else needs this new version. Roger. Right. So my name is Murph. Create a group. Load of flight. Jesus, there's more. Pop-Tart, you absolute man thick. Look what he did. A $20 donation as a super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Hoping to see the Kodiak 100. Ooh, nice. Thank you very much indeed, buddy. Loaded 5 waypoints. Lovely. No, TTM. How long are you calling yourself that? Right. Now that looks good. Start the flight. Turn on my overlay. Yup, the divil. Settings. It doesn't fit the screen right, Kanzui. I'm just saying. Right, now we'll do that. No, transparency. Do we like the black overlay or the clear? We'll go with the clear one. For the moment, we'll go with the clear one. Waypins, yeah. Oh, hang on, I have to fix something else now. Jesus. Who gave this fella a job? Right, now, what was I going into? Right. Chatbot. Chat commands. Are you ready now? Here, we fix this. Echo India Kilo Yankee. Yes. Now we need to fix the other one. Who made this? It was made by Kanzui. A great bit of kit. Save. Done. Lock it all down. She's absolutely grand. Right. Now, we're grand. Right, anyway. Here we go. Kodiak is dropping on the 27th. Ooh. Right, I think we're set up here now. So, to start us off... Let us open Navigraph. So we're on the ground here at Waterford, and we're going to be tracking down the south coast, down into Cork itself. From Cork, it's over to Bantry. This is an absolutely mad location, is Bantry. It's a private airfield. Then we're going to be rambling up to the Killarney Lakes, out by the Muckcross Road, and from there, it's over Killarney, and then on up to Farnford into Kerry International Airport. Not a very long flight, but, you know, we'll see how we get on. Now, the aircraft, as I said, de Havilland Canada, DHC-1 Chipmunk. And this one is from Aeroplane Heaven. It's been out in the sim, as I said, it's a 2020 aircraft, but it's still beautiful. Now, the good news is there's another Chipmunk on the way. FS Reborn are planning to build one of these at some stage. I'd be very much looking forward to that. So, what do we have? It is a... well, it's a training aircraft, effectively. Remember the Air Corps used to do a bit of training with these, with light armaments on them. But yeah, they're a very beautiful aircraft. They sound great, they look great, they do fly great. Not very fast. Expect about 100 knots, right? But still a beautiful, beautiful plane in the sim and in the real life. These are just an absolutely gorgeous little plane, considerably smaller. Like, there's similarities between this and the Harvard or, you know, the Texan, but considerably smaller, way less powerful engine and overall airframe. So that is our Chariot for this evening's flight. So to get us started, let me see here now, is that up on top? Yes, it is. To get us started, we're going to come down here, lower left hand side, and we will go into ground operation mode. So ground operation will give us our GPU on the outside. Super. We do have a click spot here if we wanted to have the remove before flight, all this kind of jazz, right? But we're not going to worry about it, right? So get rid of those. Now, next up, we're going to come down here. We're going to see that our fuel is turned on. Double check our fuel inside the aircraft. So we'll go to weight and balance. We'll go to fuel and we'll top this up to about 80%. There we go. Load the aircraft and that will do us. There. Now, that's our fuel loaded in. Fuel valve is on. Mixture open. Throttle open. Mag switches 1 and 2 can come on. We have our starter system over here on the right hand side. Because we're on ground power, that's how we start her up, right? We'll reset our baro and our directional indicator. We'll get some lights ready to rock here now as well. So we shall say clear it the prop, and hopefully this starts and we see what happens. Are we ready? It's a pull. That's the flaps. I got the fright of my life. It's a pull pin ping to start. So clear prop. Jeez, I shagged it. Right, Murphy. Let's not panic straight away. I've clearly broken something. Right. Ground power. Yes. Gens. Mags.
Can I get a refund?
Let's see. Is there something in here that's completely broken? Didn't I have like a little icon for the battery? No? It's not a battery. Wrong ground power.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Clearly, I'm after breaking something and I don't know yet what it is. Fuel is definitely on.
It's not the plane, it's the pilot.
Try this guy again.
They've done studies, you know.
Start.
60% of the time, it works every time.
So seemingly, if you remove the ground power, then it'll start. I mean, it's Irish, right? Bloody hell, Nora. Right, close that up. Don't know, that was a glitch and a bug. But then again, it is a 2020 aircraft. Easy now, Jemima. Alrighty. This is the type of content you get for 10 gifted subs, right? The ground unit, yeah, I don't know what happened there. But anyway, let's not dwell on it. Off the brake, ramble forward, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see how we get on. So from the back seat, yeah, looking terribly, terribly nice. Under the wing, beautiful. We have such an incredible collection of aeroplanes that look like airliners. Great to see. Murph didn't say shag off, so we all got a refund. Wait, what? Shag off! There, it was said. I hope you're not starting your car that way. Very strange, isn't it? No idea. No idea, but sure, look. Jeez, we're getting stutters here tonight as well. This is a great start. Anyway, let's have a look here. We're going to... Can we ramble this way? It's much quieter or outside than it is inside. That's a good start. Anyway. Mr. BHI is showing as a tail dragger Embraer 190. Right? Quite like the Chippy, like many air cadets' first aircraft ever flew. They're a gorgeous little airplane. Model matching is absolutely shagged. Stand by. Let me reset the model matching, lads, because like we can't be having jets. It looks silly. And I know you're not flying in jets. So stand by. I'll press a button with a thing. Turn it off and turn it back on again. And hopefully now the sim will load the correct models. He doesn't because Murph's car never actually starts. Wait, what? What is rubbish? Right, we'll see what happens here now. Cessna 172 tail draggers as well. Toto, bit of weight in the back there, Chief. Oh, the stores are real tonight. Anyone else getting those? You're in the Draco. They're starting to get a little bit better now. Right, let us see, friends. Let us see. Live weather isn't actually great, so we're going to taxi down here to our left-hand side. Waterford Airport, there's actually huge funding gone into this place. They're expecting to extend it over the next couple of years. Be interesting. Now, let's see. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. Now, let me see. What on earth turning it off and on fixes it? It forces the sim to reload aircraft models that's in close proximity. So in this case, it kind of does, yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Mad. Right, actually, hang on. That wind is a side wind or crosswind. So we'll attempt to take off from our position here, shall we? Right. Paddy, what do you reckon? I concur. Right, let's see what happens here. So, notch and flaps to take off. Flight controls are free and correct. Power coming in. Off the brakes. And let us see what happens. Easy now. Bit of a crosswind. Jesus. Easy now. Up off the tail. Lovely. 45 knots. 50 knots there. 60 knots. Yep, see daisy. Isn't it very nice? Flaps in. No idea why we're getting those pauses or stutters. Jesus. Alright, so as we take off here, flying down out of Waterford, out over the lovely Tramore area, we'll hang a right here. As I said, we'll be heading down by kind of Dungarvan neck of the woods. So the weather, I'm just using a preset. Live weather I think is like shocking bad. So we'll do one of these. Now let's see what the crack is. So we're going to start rambling over here to our right hand side. So this is where you have Tramore. It's a beautiful part of the world. Trying to get my aircraft trimmed out here as best I can. Power's looking good at about 100 knots. Climb is alright-ish. Let's just see if we can get our trim set up correctly. That feels good to me. False advertising for Ireland. It's a lovely part of the country. Yeah, the Copper Coast this is, indeed. So we always used to say it'd be a lovely country if you could only roof it, you know. Apart from Tramore. You don't like Tramore, Keen, no? Right. Now, we're doing well, lads. We haven't exploded. So, friends, if you're flying along with us, if you're on the Xbox or PlayStation, it's 1. PC Pilots, it's number 2. If you've joined us using Say Intentions Groupie, it's number 3. And if you're here looking forward to St. Patrick's Day, well, friends, you press number 4, and we'll press the thing with a yoke with a thing. Hello, Fireflies. Welcome to the Flying Circus. We live stream Monday to Friday, 2000 Zulu time, right here. Oh yeah. Sounds great. We had 30 on the PC, 218 people downing pints by the gallon, preparing for Paddy's Day. Plus a Murph. Thank you, Keen. Cheers, bud. Right, a bit of misty weather, but that's quite okay. So we'll continue on. But Mahon neck of the woods coming up. Where else? So we're heading for Dungarvan. Right, now Waterford, Wexford, Dungarvan, these are all actually Viking names. And I suppose to get us started on our mission tonight, let me see, will this work? Autopilot, altitude hold, and let's see what happens. A lot of what we're covering tonight, kind of the 15th century, late 15th century into the 16th century, certainly turbulent times across the island of Ireland. And you had, predominantly there were families, the O'Neills, the Desmonds of Cork. Families are the ones that kind of controlled all the areas. Didn't necessarily have counties, they were more the provinces, right? You might have heard of things like the Earl of Munster and all this jazz. But anyway, I digress. What we're going to learn here, friends, is all about Ross Castle, where we're heading to. Because it's a very interesting landmark in Ireland, and not one of the better known ones. It is interesting where we're going, right? So Ross Castle. Coslán on Rosh, right? Castle on the Promontory is the name of it. It rises over the eastern shore of Lough Leane in Killarney National Park. Its location on a small headland around Ross Island afforded control over boat traffic on the lake and views of the surrounding Kerry mountains. The castle, thought to have been built between 1450 and 1500 by the O'Donoghue Mór, or the Ross clan. The O'Donoghues, rulers of the eastern shores of Lough Leane, erected a tower house with 4 stories and a bawn, a curtain wall effectively, right? Enclosed by palisades and ditches. The ground floor housed garrison and storage, and the first story contained domestic rooms, the second story served as bedrooms, and the top level held a great hall for feasts and public gatherings. The layout reflects the typical Irish tower house, concentrating accommodation vertically for defence. So if you've ever come across any of these like medieval games, Kingdom Come, right, or even The Witcher, this sort of idea that you had these big houses and like different floors, you saw the same across France, you saw the same across most of Europe, and they were always built in such a way that they were defensive positions, usually a lot of stone, right, and that was kind of the crack that they used from them. There's other landmarks and buildings in Ireland much earlier than that. You're talking the round towers, some of the monasteries, and even what they were used prior to being monasteries. But a lot of these castles, the Irish countryside, the island of Ireland, it is littered with them. There's lots of them, right? Dunluce Castle up the north, Lismore Castle, there's lots and lots of them, right? Kilkenny Castle, there's an absolute barrel load of these style of different types of castles here, right? So let me see, we want to go down the left hand slightly. Well, heading work on this, let's give us about 10 clicks to the left. Right, let's see what that does. But anyway, during the Desmond Rebellions in the late 16th century, well, the O'Donoghue family supported Gerald Fitzgerald, and the Crown confiscated Ross Castle and granted it to Donald MacCarthy, the MacCarthy King of Desmond. Following the MacCarthy's allegiance to the rebels, well, the castle passed over to Sir Valentine Browne, an English settler, an ancestor to the Earl of Kenmare. Ownership fluctuated as MacCarthy allies briefly regained the tower. Subsequent intermarriage between the families, Browns married into the MacCarthys, solidified Browns' control. And the Browns, well, they converted to Catholicism and built a mansion nearby in around 1688. The most kind of important feature from this castle and what it did, it was all around the siege, right? So Ross Castle most dramatic episode occurred during the Irish Confederate Wars. In 1652, the castle was held by Lord Muskerry, that was Donogh MacCarthy, against the paramilitary forces. A local prophecy claimed that the fortress would never fall until a ship could sail on the lake. Cromwellian General Edmund Ludlow exploited this legend. His troops built boats on the river and hauled them overland. When the defenders saw the fleet approaching from the loch, they surrendered without storming, fulfilling the prophecy that Ross would fall only to an invader by water. Ross Castle thus became one of the last Gaelic strongholds to submit to Cromwell. You might have heard that name before, Oliver Cromwell. without getting too much involved into it, effectively what you had these prominent families in Ireland. Each family controlled a region. Desmond's pretty much Cork. You have the Flynns, the O'Neills, right? Flans in it later on, he was around kind of Tipperary neck of the woods. Or before that was around Tipperary neck of the woods. But effectively you had these prominent families. And how they would kind of jostle for power wasn't always through battle, although there was a lot. They would usually arrange marriages, right? And a lot of the time you'd find Irish marrying to the likes of the Scots or to the French. And you can imagine at that time, from the British perspective, this was trouble for them because, well, they don't want, enemies, sworn enemies, living so close to them. The gas thing is, assistance was requested by one of the Irish families, a prominent Irish family, requested assistance from the British Crown, and in which then, Oliver Cromwell was sent over to sort out this bit of messing. And I'm using this paraphrasing because we will get into it when we do our Irish series, right? But effectively what it was, you had now a deluge of British involvement, more so than ever during the Confederate Wars, because it was to knock out the last of kind of these Irish kind of lords, right? This sort of crack. And Rosscastle was one of the last ones to do it. What makes this interesting is it was as close as you could have gotten to something like a medieval naval assault on a fixed position. Even though there wasn't much of an assault. When they saw them, they said, well, the prophecy is this place will only fall if they come from the lake or come from the water. So that was the idea behind it. And with Cromwell, in this timeline, the British had, but the Irish were paying to them in some regards, but the French were more of a threat, right? And this is even prior to the French Revolution. The French were always a threat. So a lot of the fortifications that you can still see to this day dotted all around Ireland, Cromwell either came over and built them or he blew up the existing ones. And a lot of the defences were actually put in place to protect the resources and infrastructure from the French, funny enough, because, at the time, the Irish and the French had a very strong relationship. Not an awful lot of people know. Ireland got its flag from France, right? Ireland got its flag from France. So you had Cromwellian stuff going on. Yeah, before all of that, right? Hang on now. Hang there now. Do. I'm just looking for me little yoke here. Stand by. So Cromwell led a parliamentary invasion of Ireland from 1649 to 1650. Parliament's key opposition was the military threat posed by the alliance of the Irish Confederates and the English Royalists. The Confederate Royalist alliance was judged to be the biggest single threat facing the Commonwealth. And again, you link that back into the Irish side of it being so close to the French, and it was all, and the Spanish throughout the same time, right? But anyway, Cromwell said in a speech to the Army Council, "I had rather been overthrown by a Cavalierish interest than a Scotch interest. I'd rather been overthrown by a Scottish interest than an Irish interest, and I think of this is the most dangerous." Cromwell's hostility to the Irish was religious as well as political. He was passionately opposed to the Catholic Church, and he saw as denying the primacy of the Bible in favour of papal and clerical authority, and which he blamed for suspected tyranny and persecution of Protestants in continental Europe. Cromwell's association of Catholicism with persecution was deepened with the Irish Rebellion in 1641. So this is kind of roughly in and around this timeline. You're talking very, very turbulent times. Similar to what we did on the Napoleon series, where things kind of start off, it's a little bit kind of rockety and rickety, but then it goes all out. it goes bananas for a while, and it's there's all sorts of violence and land changes and all this sort of stuff happening, right? So a very interesting character throughout history, very, very interesting. But leading us back to here, when it comes to Ross Castle in particular, right? As I said, the most dramatic episode occurred during the Irish Confederate Wars, which is around 1652. And Cromwellian General Edmund Ludlow, that's the fellow I'm after, he exploited this legend. So we'll do a quick read up on this lad. So Edmund Ludlow, best known for the involvement in the execution of Charles I, his memoirs, which were published in a written form and had become a major source of historians of the Wars of the Three Kingdoms. Now, where is this now? In 1649, he was made second in command of the Parliament's forces in Ireland before breaking with Oliver Cromwell over the establishment of the Protectorate. So, after Cromwell returned from Ireland in June 1650, he appointed Ludlow as Lieutenant General or Lieutenant General of Horse and second in command of the Parliament's campaign there. Here, he spared neither health nor money in public service. He landed in Ireland in January 1651. He was involved in the siege of Limerick, and after Ireton's death in November 1651, Ludlow held the chief command and had practically completed the conquest of the island when he resigned his authority to Fleetwood in October 1652. Most of his campaigning in Ireland was against Irish guerrillas, and much of his operations consisted of hunting small bands and destroying foodstuffs and crops. Ludlow is remembered for what he said of the Burren in County Clare during the counter-guerrilla operations. It is a country where there is not enough water to drown a man, wood enough to hang one, nor earth enough to bury him. Right? Anyway, we go back to the castle. You can see where there's all going to be mad stuff we'll learn, especially from kind of 1600 up to about, 1922. Irish history is friggin' mad, right? Prior to that, it's all interesting, but prior to that, it's fascinating when you go back to the earliest signs of life on the island and, the myth, legend, Cuchulainn, all of that stuff, right? Very interesting stuff, but that's a chat for another day, right? But what we have looking back at Ross Castle, and as I said, there are so many examples of this sort of design of a castle in Ireland. There's lots of them. It's not like there's like 5 or 6. There's lots of them, right? Almost every county now has a castle very like this, almost like a Norman design, and they're all very, very similar, right? So the architecture, Ross Castle exemplifies the defensive ingenuity of these Irish tower houses. Now they were based on earlier examples, of course, but the tower house and also the bartizans. It was a square keep with bartizans, effectively their corner turrets, right? And they allowed for flanking fire against attackers. The Bawn wall, basically the exterior wall, was a curtain wall, enclosed a yard, originally protected by a palisade and some ditches. Then, each of the houses, they would have had what was called a murder hole and a yett. Visitors entered through a small entry where a heavy iron yett, which was basically a crosshatch gate, once blocked the doorway, and the defenders could attack through what's called a murder hole above. The oak entrance door, the entrance door was oak, made of a cross-layered board to resist battering. A spiral staircase, a clockwise spiral staircase, favoured right-handed defenders. Now think of this. Do you ever consider do you ever see like a spiral staircase, especially in old buildings? And I mean like ancient buildings. You always wondered, why didn't they go the other way? Back then, and this was the thinking when it came to the engineering, a clockwise spiral staircase favoured a defender more so than an attacker. The attacker, usually the sword was carried in the right hand. So if they're going up the stairs in a clockwise motion, they've physically no way to draw their sword and strike. If you were a defender, however, you have all that clear space, your right arm is free, and that's where you could defend. Who knew that? Who would have known? Who would have known? Then we have these narrow windows. Lower story windows were narrow. They had narrow slits in them for arrows or muskets later on. And you had these other projected openings at the roof line, which allowed rocks or boiling water to be thrown on enemies. And then you had a parapet provided additional cover for the guards. Irish folklore about Ross Castle, well, they said it was a magical place. According to legend, O'Donoghue Mór, or the O'Donoghue family, either leapt or was pushed from the tower into the loch. He now lives beneath the lake in a splendid palace, and every 7 years on May Day he emerges on a white horse and circles the lake, bestowing good fortune on anyone who sees him. This motive of a submerged chieftain echoes Celtic myths of sovereignty spirits associated with lakes. Ooh. Later histories, and following the Cromwellian conquest, the Brown family remained at Ross but supported James II during the Williamite Wars. After their defeat, they briefly lost the estate before regaining it again in the early 19th century. Ross Castle served as a military barracks until the early 1800s. In the 19th century, the second Earl of Kenmare removed the roof to avoid property taxes and altered the windows to give the ruin a romantic appearance. By the Victorian era, the site had become a tourist attraction. Picnic parties rode across the lake to enjoy its picturesque ruins. After the Brown estate was sold to the government in the 20th century, Ross Castle came into state care in 1970. Restoration employed traditional materials, timber beams, hand-cut and plaster reinforced with horsehair to replace and replicate the original structure. The barn walls were rebuilt, the tower re-roofed, and the castle reopened with guided tours and exhibitions. Now, something's interesting there. Taxes were a huge thing, and you might have heard the term before, daylight robbery. Did you ever hear that term? That's daylight robbery. Well, there was taxes employed in Ireland and other places that occupants or the owners of a house, they were charged the daytime tax. And what this meant was your house was taxed based on how many windows were counted. There was a light tax. You were taxed on daylight. So that's where the expression daylight robbery. Have you ever noticed with a lot of old Irish houses, particularly down the country, they're built with the gable end of the house facing the road, not the front of the house? There was a reason for that, because the tax collector back in the day would only see the gable end of the house and wasn't able to count the windows. Daylight robbery. Fascinating, right? Very interesting stuff. And the amount of sayings that came out of this. So between the castle itself with that design, and again, like if we look at Ross Castle, just to give you an idea of it, and if you were to look at the similarities between Ross Castle and also kind of this Norman design, right? So here we have the main castle, 4 stories, and you have these turrets, I suppose, on the outsides, and then you have a wall going around it, right? But if you were to look at, say, a Norman castle, I don't know. If you were to look at different Norman castles in and around Ireland, well, you'll get the idea here, look, right? Up there you. So these foundations, I mean, they go all the way back. Jesus, the Normans, you're talking after 1070 and up to 1140 and all this crack, right? So where's it now? Can we see this guy? So when engineers and architects were looking at a design for different types of castles, well, you can kind of see where they got their inspiration from, right? This sort of crack. Trim Castle, just down the road from Mews. You have this square building, and again, it's covered by turrets on walls, so you can see the similarity. The only difference is you're talking 500 years prior, or 400 years prior, right? Ballyhealy Castle, fine example of this late medieval tower. This, if you were to look at this idea, right? The building stone castle popularised by the Normans, and then by the 15th century, when the Tower House was built, Ireland became one of the most castellated landscapes in Europe. Like, there are tons of castles in Ireland. There's loads of them. This one here, like, if you were to look at this one, right? So this is Ballyhealy. If you were to look at the Leap Castle, which isn't too far from me, right? Here's the Leap. You can see the similarities. Do you know what I mean? And, like, you know, inside them, Bunratty Castle, that's another one, right? And funny, if you ever, you know, if you're on your holidays in Ireland, you can actually stay in a lot of these. A lot of people keep these as B&Bs. You can rent out the entire castle, or they have rooms in them, because a lot of them are kept open to the public. Fascinating stuff. So when you look at all the landmarks that we've covered on this series, from, you know, bridges to political buildings, palaces, you know what I mean, opera houses, certainly, okay, the Irish one, it's not terribly big, it's not terribly known, and it's because we have so many of these dotted around the countryside. It's fascinating stuff. Howth Castle, there we go. Malahide Castle, absolutely. Like some of the oldest castles in Ireland, I mean, you know, where you have hotels and that, kind of Dromoland Castle, Kilkee Castle, they started off life much earlier than that. Do you know what I mean? It's fascinating stuff. And a lot of the Norman castles were built on ancient Irish forts, or the dun being the Irish word for a fort, right? So, like, consider Irish history from way back when, right? You go all the way back to, like, you know, the first humans on the island. Then you kind of, you know, skip on a few thousand years, where you have Ireland before kind of religion got here. There was pagan religion here, of course, right? And the idea, you know, snakes. There was no snakes in Ireland, but the idea being, well, snake meaning the non-believers, you know. But when you look at how history has kind of followed on with Ireland, as I said earlier, with the Romans, they had no interest in coming into Ireland. There's no evidence of Roman settlement here. There's plenty of evidence of trade, Roman coins and all this kind of stuff. You know, other nations, the Vikings, probably they left the biggest mark here. And what the Vikings did here was kind of the first time they did it really anywhere. Usually the Vikings, I mean, they'd find an area, they'd come in, pillage, raid and leg, and off they go, right? It was quite rare that they would actually stay and integrate. It wasn't just the case that they would settle, they would integrate, right? And that's where you have the founding of a number of Irish places. Dublin, for example, Dublina. Then you have Wexford, Waterford, Dungarvan. And prior to the Vikings coming over, I mean, there were still sites in Ireland, kind of around 400 or 500 AD, right? Ireland at the time was heavily involved with religion. We have a place not too far. It's in the middle of the country. It's called Clonmacnoise. Clonmacnoise at the time, I mean, you know, when you look at Rome and the fall of the Roman Empire and all this kind of stuff, the kind of the epicenter of Christianity for a long time was in the, you know, it was with the monks in Clonmacnoise. You know, you have figures like St. Columbanus, who, you know, headed to Rome from Ireland and built loads of churches through northern France and all the way down into Italy. So there's some fascinating stories there. But yeah, it's incredible to think that on an island of Ireland where you had so much involvement from Vikings coming in, after the Vikings then you had, you know, Irish families, these Tua, you know, the Tuatha and all this, or Tua, these clans that operated. To me, one of the most, you've heard of Brian Boru, of course, but one of the most fascinating for me was Flann Cinna. Flann Cinna being around that region of Clonmacnoise, very close to becoming, you know, the High King of Ireland, whereby it was united Ireland, whereby, you know, he had agreements with all the different prominent families. They used places, you know, the Hill of Tara for ceremonial stuff. You know, if there was going to be a new king brought in, and all the while, you know, the closest neighbour to us, of course, being Wales and England and Scotland. well, I mean, Scotland, the Scots were a Celtic tribe from Ireland pushed up, right? So the Celts, not necessarily, you know, there wasn't like a Celtic civilization whereby you'd have, you know, the Goths or you'd have the Romans or you know what I mean? The Celts were very much spread out. It was more of a culture that they followed, belief system, you know, day-to-day kind of stuff, but there was not necessarily, there was no formal government to say we are the Celtic nation. It wasn't the case. However, a lot of the culture kind of mixed in, especially when it came to religion. And as I said before, religion was organised, if you like, organised religion. Before you had all of that, you know, what's classed now as like pagan beliefs. It's amazing how all of this followed the Roman doctrine, whereby the Pax Romana, the Roman way, it all goes back to the Romans in my head, but the Roman way was, you know, you heard the saying, I came, I saw, I conquered, which they did. The Romans came, they saw, they conquered, but then they assimilated. And the Romans were very open about including these, you know, conquered nations' beliefs into their own. You know, the Romans would say, listen, we don't care what gods you have, just make sure, you know, give us an L salute to the Roman gods. You can have your gods, but just make sure they answer to our gods. Ah, yeah, no problem. And that's kind of what they did. So in Ireland, we have what we call, it's a holy well. So if you ever hear in Ireland, that's a holy well. What do you mean by a holy well? Well, it didn't mean that St. Patrick came over and blessed it. A holy well, wells, anything but water, considering we're an island nation, water was worshipped. To this day it's worshipped, but water was heavily worshipped. And where you had these wells, you had different deities represented to, you know, I couldn't tell you what they are, I need to do my homework, but this is what they mean by a holy well. And like things like St. Bridget's Cross and, you know, Ash Wednesday and all of these things, these are a tip of the cap going back all the way to the Irish pagan beliefs, which would have came from the Celtic pagan beliefs. Do you know, when it came to like even the burial sites, you know, the Domhall tombs and fascinating stuff, absolutely fascinating stuff. So we're here over Cork City, and where are we here now? We're just coming in over kind of Hallbowline and Cove neck of the woods. There's Cork Airport to our left hand side. Straight ahead of us here this is down by Parky Queeve, which is a Gaelic Athletic Association grounds, football grounds here in Cork City. It's also great for concerts and whatnot. With the river going up through the city. Cork City is a great city to go out in. Great nightlife, great pubs, restaurants. It's class. Cork is good old crack. Highly recommend it. So we're going to circle around here and we're going to plan a landing into Cork on its main runway 16. That's what we're going to do. But yeah, Haven Art, thank you very much indeed. Borg Romanus, the Borg, right? Very similar. That sort of method or that way of thinking, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's fascinating when you look into it, and as I say, like a lot of the history, it's hard to come by because a lot of records were destroyed, just with the turbulent kind of background that Ireland has. Various rebelling, you know, as a nation against you know, a foreign power. Up until that point, Ireland was always inward facing. This island was always inward facing. The odd opportunistic family would be looking abroad. They would have an arranged marriage that was either going to guarantee them a kingdom or some sort of power through another bloodline or through another family. And that was very prominent in the Middle Ages. But certainly prior to that, everything here was inward looking. And then, of course, the Vikings came and there was all sorts of crack with them lads, right? So much so that you had Vikings ruling the island, well, ruling the major hubs, Dublin being one of them, for a long time. And how it all kind of changed them with all these different families, with Flansinna, Brian Boru, of course, very famous, you've heard the name, how he pretty much, we'll get into him because he's a fascinating character, but effectively came down the River Shannon because he made a deal with the Vikings to use their boats on the Shannon. That was the only highway in Ireland. Don't forget, back then, the vast majority of the island was covered in forest. The vast majority. It was like 98% covered in forest, dense forest, right? So you have something like the River Shannon, that was a highway, effectively. And if you can control the Shannon, you controlled access up and down the countryside. And if you go on hundreds of years later, someone like Cromwellian forces, well, they knew this. Therefore, there are a number of sites that were, what's the word I'm looking for? Diffused or deactivated. So in County Leash, for example, you have the Rock of Dunamaze, very similar to the Rock of Cashel, right? It's older. And probably more significant, the Rock of Cashel was great from the religious side of it, you know, with a full cathedral built in there and whatnot. But the Rock of Dunamaze, it was originally built on an ancient dun or an ancient fort, and Cromwellian forces destroyed that because they knew, that could have been used as a stronghold if things were to go mad. Then you go down to places like Shannon Bridge, Shannon Harbour. You can see where the barracks to this day still stand, and also the magazines and the fortifications. There was barracks up and down the Shannon. The Shannon is a great, it's a great place to go exploring, because you literally just see, you see these bridges. Next thing you see, Jesus, there's turrets, or there's a big castle, or here's walls, or here's some sort of a fortification. The Shannon was the main way to navigate throughout the land. Think about it. If you're in dense forests, sure, there was no road signs. You couldn't tell if you were suddenly in, the land of the Desmonds or the lands of the O'Neills. You wouldn't have a clue. It was all forested area. The Shannon was a great border for that. And then hundreds of years later, then you get into the development of the island, whereby they start building canal systems. And another thing that's fascinating about Ireland, the canals off the River Shannon. I mean, there's canals there that Guinnesses used to use. Your barrels of Guinness would come out of James's Gate onto these boats, down onto the canals. And back then, this will tell you, the boats couldn't propel themselves. The boats were actually towed by horses, which walked alongside the canal, and they towed these canal boats, right? And it's only when they kind of perfected the canal network, they said, you know what, this is great. Well, then some fella came up with the invention of the steam engine, and the railway replaced the canals. And then, of course, the motor car replaced the railways. In Ireland, over the last 50 years, there's been a mad push on getting the canals redug, cleaned out, and also savage money gone back into the development of a rail service. It's very, very strange how kind of history is just like, yeah, we should have all this. But like inland waterways, the rivers, the canals in Ireland, it's very unique. I always wondered, like, Jesus, why do we get so many people travelling to Ireland to visit the Shannon? And I remember talking to a few different couples. I was talking to a German couple once, and they were saying, yes, we have rivers, but nothing like this. You have everything here with your rivers. You've mountains, you've open fields, you've massive lakes, you've small rivers, and you have canal access, and it's all over the country. Bad. So, welcome to Cork. As we try a touchdown
Dreamy,
here.
sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
The man is just, Stu! Oh, Jesus, look. That's how much he's after ruining my landing. Oh, Jesus. Get her down. There we go. Easy, Chipmunk. Easy. Onto that tail wheel there now. Good and tie it. Good and tie it. Right. We're down. Right, flaps in. We'll do a wee. Welcome to our first stop. We're down in Cork. Cork International Airport. It's actually a freeware, or not a freeware, it's a handcrafted scenery in the sim. We did a lesson back here in Cork a couple of weeks back. It's a great airport. There's great flight school down here as well. And as I said, if you ever get the chance to visit Cork, Cork City is a great spot. You can go out to Cove. Cove is just down the road. And that's Cove, of course, famous for a number of reasons, but one of them, of course, being it was one of the pickup points for RMS Titanic. And you also have a place called Spike Island, which was used for many things: prison, fortification, training area, fascinating stuff. And then you have other things. You have it's a great wildlife park called Fota Island, and it's like a zoo, but it's way more open. The animals aren't, they're all behind, right? But it's a great day out, going down to Photo Island and then coming back up into Cove, going into like the Titanic bar and restaurant. You can actually get out onto the old jetway, and that's where the jetties used to be. Bring them out into feeder vessels. Your dad pranged the top of a boat on a swing bridge on the Shannon. Oh, that can happen. My dad's boat, he shagged it there a couple of weeks back. So the wooden mast. So there's technology employed that in a boat, flying and sailing are very similar. You wouldn't think it, but the idea being is if you want to dip the depth. There's words that Mr. TPH. If you want to get deeper into the water, you would increase your speed. That increased the draft behind the boat, so she'd sink, right? So, or it'll sink down a little bit. So if you're approaching a bridge that's a little bit tight, you would increase your power because the boat will effectively dig in, and you'll gain a couple of inches or a foot. So what happened was he was approaching a bridge on the Shannon, and he thought he was going grand until he realised he wasn't, and it took the wooden mast off his Dutch cruiser. I thought, it was someone screaming. I heard him shout from, Tipperary, Right, we'll sit tight here for the moment, get ourselves ready to rock. So, let's have a look here at the map. I want to show you just where we are. And again, like, if you ever do any sort of kind of exploration, even digital exploration on the map in and around Ireland, you'll see some cool stuff. So when we think about Ross Castle, I want to show you something that's very similar. Yes, you have Blarney Castle, and again, if you look at the shape of the now, there's more than 4 stories there, but you get the same idea, right? You get the same idea. That's Now, Blarney Castle, of course, is famous, which is hilarious to us because, they'll say the gift of the Blarney or the gift of the Gab, or, you lick the old Blarney stone. Not many people know, but the Blarney Stone, or the Blarney Stone, well, it had other uses, right? Because the British held this castle for years. I won't tell you because it'll probably ruin you, and there's no amount of bleach necessary. But if we ramble down here, so we flew in over Cove. This is where we just came in from, where we're currently situated. We're down here at Cork Airport. All right, so Cork Airport, just outside the city. This is where we flew over on the way in. Down here is Parky Queeve, right? I don't agree with them calling it Super Value Parky Queeve. Anyone else from Ireland giving out about that? Right? It's Parky Queeve. Welcome to the Super Value. Shag off. But anyway, we'll come on down over here. This is Spike Island, Fort Mitchell, but Spike Island, you can see the layout of it. But basically what's the word we're looking for there? Not like a redoubt, but there's a name for it, this layout. Who in the chat knows this? Citadel. So that's Spike Island. If you go in here and have a look at Cove, Cove is beautiful. It's just gorgeous, right? You've the Titanic Trail. I'll show you here there now. If we come down, that's where the boats are. We'll come down. There's the Titanic experience. Now, see this Titanic bar and grill. Now, I don't know the people in here. All I know is I've been in here a few times, and it's savage. You can sit out if the weather's right, so 6 minutes a year, one day, you can sit outside. But they just do nice pub grub. If you're looking for like hearty, good pub, Irish grub, right? You're in Cork, so you're going to get pints of Murphy's. You can get Guinness as well. But it's a nice kind of a bar and restaurant. This is the back of it there now. Because you have the museum then to one side, you have the Titanic experience right next door to you. You see? So, jeez, look at the weather they had there. So I'd highly recommend, if you're down in Cork, go out to Cove. Jesus, then. Bit of steak. Right? But that's the crack. Go out to Photo Island. Just to give you an idea. So Photo's out this neck of the woods. Where am I now? We're up here. Photo Wildlife. So you drive out from Cork, head around out the N25, and if you're out this neck of the woods then, did you ever hear of Middleton? Middleton is famous because there is a distillery in Middleton. Can anyone tell me what do they know of the Middleton branded distillery? This is a great museum. I was out here for my stag party. Or me stag do. many years ago. Jesus, that's going on many years now, right? So you can go out and do the whiskey tour below in Middleton. A bottle of Middleton, very rare, just as lovely, right? But then you have Fota Wildlife. So if you're from down into Fota, which is down here, the wildlife park, and look at the site, like, it's huge. You can walk around it. There's like the giraffes and tons of cheetahs, and it's just cool. They've rhinos, they've all the big cats. It's because people usually say, we'll go to, we'll go up there to, Dublin Zoo. And Dublin Zoo is grand and all, but like, Jesus, it's a kip for parking and a kip for it's dear, and there's too many people. Here's way better, right? It's just better. Jemison, yeah, you get your Jemison down in Middleton. So that's Fota Wildlife, and as Adam said, great round of golf. If you're into your golf, great round of golf around Fota. It's a gorgeous course, and the rates are quite reasonable considering how friggin' nice the place is. This is a fine place to go golfing. Right, so you have your Fota Wildlife, then you come down the road into Cove, and there's a couple of really nice places in Cove. As you come in, this is the harbour, and you often find the cruise liners pulling in here, and then every tourist has the same expression because the weather, right? Anyway, you ramble up here into Cove, and there's 2 or 3 landmarks around you. The main one is the church up at the hill. Which is... Where's the church? Here it is here. St. Colman's Cathedral. Massive. You see this from pretty much anywhere in Cove. And there's a fair bit of historical significance to the church. There was... Jesus, what was the story? Who was it? St. Colman's... St. Colman's Cathedral. Yeah. So there's a monument down here in Cove and up by the cathedral, which marks that of the Lusitania. Right, so the Lusitania in May 1916, Cove witnessed the horror and tragedy of the aftermath of the sinking of the Lusitania. Survivors and bodies were brought into the community that responded with courage and compassion. Cove people remember the tragedy every year, and in and around the anniversary, with a fitting remembrance ceremony for the 1,201 people who lost their lives on the Lusitania. So if you've never heard what happened to the Lusitania, she was hit. So the Lusitania, British registered ocean liner, which was torpedoed by an Imperial German Navy U-boat during the First World War. The sinking of the Lusitania, right? But anyway, that's all sorts of political drama we can get into. And then you have places in Cork, see, like Wolfetone Street. Wolfetone is a very prominent name. It was Theobald Wolfetone who led the Irish rising against the British back in 1798. Theobald Wolfetone. In Dublin, you have a Wolfetone Quay. Wolfetone, right? And we'll learn a bit, and hence the band, the Wolfetones. Anyway, we'll get into more of that when we're doing our Irish history stuff. But it's not... because like if you were to look at the British Empire back then, the British Empire had massive colonial power, right? Huge, the biggest the world had ever seen at its time, not to mention the largest navy ever, right? However, the objective of telling the story of Ireland, it's not a dig back at what the British Empire did. It's kind of a realization of the commitment of the people. And how people responded to this. Like anywhere, with colonisation came all sorts of advantages, right? No different than what we saw in with Napoleon, right? Out in Sicily, no different when the French took it over. But a number of risings, we say, from kind of 1600 onwards, they all failed up until we got to 1916, right? But prior to that, what makes the relationship between Ireland and Britain and England more so, what makes it more interesting, I think, is long before you had England, and England, of course, like the history of England, England, where that got its name from. It's a lot of people don't understand. It came down from the friggin' Scandinavia, right? But anyway, we'll get into that later on, and then like the Anglo-Saxons, and there's all cool history there as well. You've heard of King Arthur, and right, deadly
Dreamy,
stuff.
sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Absolutely deadly stuff. But the island people on Ireland was invading the island people of Britain long before. Long before. Sure, that's how they got old St. Patrick over here. They used to go over and raid the coast, take people back here and horse them into slavery. We were the devils long before anyone else was. That's why I think the whole thing becomes very, very interesting. But anyway, I digress. We're getting all sorts of mad... I get passionate about Irish history, but because it's interesting, you know. Right, will we stay going? Let's go. We shall depart out of Cork. Next stop, Bantry Bay. Easy now. Hopefully I'm not boring the absolute bejesus out of you. And don't take anything I say as 100% verbatim, unless I'm telling you a fact. I'm basing this on kind of my own learnings and... Right? Memphis Town, good to see it. It's the Airplane Heaven one. Airplane Heaven's one. And it's lovely. Beautiful. Gibbo has left the building. Murphy remembers it well. Brilliant. Fun fact you found that their cove known as Queenstown at the time was the last stop for Titanic. Yep. So a lot of so Irish place names, where did we get our names from? So the names we use today, they're anglicised names, right? So they were the British interpretation of what these names were. Prior to that, well, they were Gaelic names, right? They're all part of the Gaeltacht region. So Cork is Corky, or Corky, right? Tipperary is Tubbledorum. Donegal is Donegal. Dublin, Ballyohaclia, right? Waterford, Wexford, and they're a little bit different, but right, Dunlarga and all this. But the point I'm making is, even the Irish names that we use today, they're based on the Anglo interpretation of what they were. So Dublin, for example, people say, well, what does Dublin mean? Well, the name Dublin, it goes back to a Viking name, Dublinna, meaning black pool, because there was a black pool. Right, now that was drained and that building and all this went on. So Irish place names, they're very interesting, and it tends to be the name of what it is turned around the opposite way. Right? Yeah, Waterford and Wexford are always a little bit different. Yeah. RD is, what's it? Ferdia, is it? But Kildare. Now, Kildare, like, to understand the place name, Irish place name meanings, right? Where is this now? Adair, for example. It means off, so it means ford. So when you hear Ballyohaclia, right? Well, Ballya is town, Ballyohaclia, so town of, right? Carrig is a rock. Cashel is a circular fort, right? Let's see here now. Cluan is a meadow, so you've been Clonus, Clonmel, Clontarf, Clontibret, Clon, right? That's how you hear it as. But it was meaning that of Cluan. It means Ferdia's ford. Ferdia was Cuchullin's friend. Ah, there you go. Yes, John, we're heading down to Bantry now. It's going to be great crack, so it is. So let's lock ourselves back in on this heading, and we head there now. Let's have a look here now. So Dungarvan, which is Garvan's fort, right? It's some fascinating stuff. I remember my dad he did research into this years ago. He had a book and all this. He was trying to figure out all the different names, and he's very good at Irish. The only Irish I learned was from the Defence Forces. But it's cool when you see these named places in Ireland. If you ever see like an Irish road sign, similar to what they have in any European country at this stage, but you see it in the likes of, you see it in Wales quite a bit, right? Open image, a new tab. So we have this sort of crack in our roads, right? So you see Thurles, well, it's actually Durlas. You have Freshford or you have Achador. You have Kilkenny or it's Kilkenny. Dublin, Ahaclea. Cork, Corky, right? Or Ballyshean, which is Johnstown. So you'll see these named places, but these named places actually derive from the anglicised version because, well, there was no real maps here, right? It was said that there was a Greek fella who did a small bit of mapping, but Ireland back then was known as Hibernia, land of eternal winter. The earliest records of what a map here looked like. And there was no resources here that interest any sort of foreign investment, if you like, or foreign interest. We didn't have anything here. Now, as the years went on, of course, Ireland had great exports for silver. Silver mines was a huge booming industry here. Of course, our fish, farming has always been a big thing. But in terms of what the country manufactured, we were never... Like, Ireland didn't see the Industrial Revolution, right? It saw bits, but it was more micro-scale workhouses. We had an awful lot of breweries, right? We had an absolute ton of breweries, naturally enough. Peat was big, but it was always used internally. The exports really only really hit when it came to Irish products. Mainly, well, Irish food was always there, but the drink, the Irish drink was a world success in terms of a product. Irish products, when it came to alcohol, the world over, you'd find something, be it a Hennessy, be it Jameson, you'd find it, you know. Foreign acts, that's the one. So we had good crack, we'd massive crack. And like, today living here, like, everyone has their own background in their country, and you know, if I'm always a huge advocate to say, you know, turn off live news, stop getting reports about live news, right? There's nothing in it that's going to impact your life in a positive way. Maybe check in on the news once a week if you want, but I know a lot of folks are like, oh, something on the news. There's shag all you can do that's going to impact on what's happening anyway. A lot of the time it'll just give you bad news, right? That's my advice to anyone who's like, I can't be dealing with this. Just turn the shagging thing off, you know. Just remember, you can have a few pints tonight. Be Janie then you can. You certainly can. If you can't influence the result, don't worry. Kinda. A lot of people get upset then and under pressure about it. Very little we can do about it, you know. You get into like mental well-being or numero uno. Keep the wheelhouse healthy, right? Harry McGregor and Micheál Martin are going to have a UFC ring set up outside the White House. There you go. But it's like the landscape of Ireland, not necessarily political. I couldn't care less about the political landscape because it's politics in any country is going to wreck your head. But there's interesting things in Ireland when it comes around the cultural makeup of the island now these days. We've a lot of folks now living in Ireland. I'm trying to get the number, but like hundreds of thousands of Polish people here now. There's thousands of other nationalities now part of, well, Ireland, and it's part of our culture. And we can see this now in sport. You know, you're seeing players coming along going, Jesus then. And it is great. By and large, it's great. There's an element of it, like in any country, where you're thinking, hello, lads, right? But by and large, it's great to see. And it's a great way for Irish folks to be able to kind of share the culture. Because it's not really known, right? Some of the culture is, yeah. Actually, the Irish are great crack. Music, drink, bit of dancing, they'll do a bit of messing. Yeah, we do that. But there's far more to it as well. Far more to it, do you know? But we always love the crack. We always love the crack. And I think, you know, I've come across a lot of friends from North America who are very similarly minded. You just get it, you know? Same across the pond in the UK, England, Wales and Scotland. You guys, you get it, right? And a lot of places in Europe as well. I think the Kiwis, anyone who I've spoken to from New Zealand, very similarly minded to the Irish. Very similar. We're on the same, almost, they'd help us finish a sentence, you know? And before we leave the names, I learned that the Irish word for road, boher, comes from a cow path. Yeah. That's it, you are correct. The bow part is cow, yeah. I love seeing non-Irish people using Irish phrases. I love it. And then accents as well, Mew. So I would have worked with an awful lot of Polish guys and, you know, Eastern European guys. And over the years, you know, their accent, they pick up some Irish phrases. And they're using these Irish phrases in this kind of a broken, their own native tongue, and a bit of, it's so funny to hear it. Absolutely brilliant. Especially, you know, if you get someone that has like a thick accent wherever they're from, you know, Lithuania or Poland or Hungary or even Russia, you'll hear that thick accent and think, jeez, where's that accent from? And then you'll hear them using an Irish phrase and it's like, that's the weirdest thing ever. It's brilliant. In the words of Alan Partridge, there's more to Ireland than this. Yes. The scenery is gorgeous. It is. So we'll have more of the same tomorrow. We're doing the St. Patrick's Day stream tomorrow. We'll learn all about the man, of course. But we're going to go exploring. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's flight. This one that we're doing tonight, we're heading out now towards Bantry, where we're overflying now. We're heading on out towards that of West Cork. And well, you Skibbereen down this neck of the woods, right? We're heading over to Bantry. Some beautiful places down here. Clonakilty. Now here's the thing, right? So you know, and I'm talking to natives here, right? You know the crack with Clonakilty pudding, right? But I hear this. There's a butcher in Clonakilty who sells pudding, black pudding, and it is the finest pudding in the land. Now, I don't mean pudding like dessert pudding. I'm talking about like breakfast pudding, black and white. Clonakilty pudding. Now, it'll give you the farce like you've never believed ever. Do you know? Make sure you open a window after you eat it. But if you go down to Clonakilty, go down to the butcher. I forget the name of him. He's the only butcher there. Go down to the butcher. Yeah, like the commercialised version of it isn't great, Adam. The original stuff out of Clonakilty is deadly. Do you know? Yeah, Keen, isn't it brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. I love it. This one I used to use here in Australia was "you're grand." Yeah. They never knew what I was on about. I'm grand. What you mean? I'm grand. Yeah. Isn't it brilliant? No, I'm all right, thanks. Oh no, it's grand. You know, it's like when a woman says it's fine. Is it fine? I heard me door slam. Zit says, I have a Dublin accent, but I spend a lot of time in Donegal. I'm the only dub you'll hear saying ween or I or yes lad. Yeah. Michael Collins statue in town. Yes, Dave, that's the one. But yeah. Look, I will say this. For folks who can't travel, or, you know, travelling to Ireland just wouldn't be their thing, I am happy to report, being a native of Ireland, Microsoft Flight Sim have done an incredible job, especially when it comes to our terrain, the mesh, the hills, the mountains, the cliffs. It's done very, very well. It's the best I've ever seen Ireland looking in any sort of a digital platform. It is amazing. So, I mean, when you're flying around Ireland in the sim, this is so very close to what it's actually like. Especially if you get to fly here. It's exceptionally good. Of all the places, well, I haven't been to, anywhere I visited, it's always looked very good in other countries. But being from Ireland, and I know the country, I've spent time flying around the country, this is bang on. It's very, very good. Tarnish, yes, I have. I have indeed. They only updated that yesterday, I think, or the day before. Right, Skibbereen then on our left-hand side. Down, Ballydehob. Great name. Ballydehob is in front of us. Are just going down to Ballydehob. Right, so Ballia town, right? And then it's up to Bantry. Bantry's cool. Beautiful part of the world. And like when you see the mountains here, oh Jesus. And even to walk around Bantry, it's lovely. You're showing us an MD-11. Yeah, model matching's just, it's like shagged. Do you know? But anyway, so it's going to be a right turn coming up here in a moment. I'm looking out for a wind farm. Wind turbines. They should be coming up fairly soon. At least according to my charts. Hang on, they're off my right hand side. Oh, there it is. Right, we've passed the wind farm. So there should be another wind farm coming up at our 1 o'clock. So that's the second wind farm in, right? Cap Chris, welcome in. My alerts don't seem to be working, do they?
Hello there.
No, they're working. Murph, sorry, I was trying to fly into Bantry, but apparently I don't have the airport. Can you recommend a good add-on? There's a free one, Pop-Tart, but it's not an airport worth worrying about. It's literally a field with a bit of, you know, tarmac at them. Do you know what I mean? Whoa, Spyfly, Dave!
To introduce
welcome in.
myself.
A very good evening and welcome to the Spy Flight. Hope you guys had an awesome stream. You join us. We're flying between Cork and Bantry, and we're heading up to our final landmark in this series called Ross Castle, built in the late 15th century, and it's kind of like a typical Irish castle. Square building, 4 floors, right? Stores, munitions, people, armaments, and that's where we're heading tonight. But you're very welcome in. Cap Chris, thank you very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. Another video where to find the best regional airports for small stuff. Yeah. We'll definitely check it out. Homewreck, welcome in. Thank you very much indeed. I reckon it was invented by the Irish. Many things are invented by the Irish, yes. But yeah, we're not using live weather. You see, if we had like subtropical weather, sure, you know, you couldn't move. There'd be too many people here. So that's why we have bad weather. You know, it's crowd control. Crowd control. Do you know what I mean? But that's what we do. But yeah, our weather isn't great here at all. You get a couple of days a year where it's not bad. There's that second wind farm. So as we ramble into the Bay of Bantry, and again, we talk about defensive positions and all this kind of crack, right? Well, I want to show you, because there are gun emplacements on a place called Whiddy Island. Now, you also had the Whiddy Island disaster. A French ship went down? An oil tanker or something or other? Now, Whiddy Island. Apart from Tyke Furlong's auntie running the pub, who made me a hang sandwich one day. Let's see here now. Historically, the island was strategically important as it protected Bantry Bay and the bay's deep water anchorage. As a result, the British authorities built fortified batteries on the island in the Napoleonic times. This was to prevent a repeat of the arrival of a French Armada force at Bantry Bay, which had occurred in 1796. Then, in the last months of the First World War, Whiddy became the site of a US Naval Air Station, and the US Navy's Air Wing established a seaplane base on the eastern end of the island, and it became operational on the 25th of September 1918. They held 2 Curtiss Model H aircraft. The air crews patrolled shipping lanes around Fastnet Rock, close to where the RMS Lusitania had been sank some years earlier. One of the planes crashed in 1918, killing the airman, a Watford August Anderson, even. Test pilot, thank you very much indeed, buddy. 48 months. Jesus. Now, where's this now? The base had an operational radio station which received messages from as far away as the United States and even Russia. With the armistice on the 11th of November 1918, the station was no longer required and it closed in January 1919. In all, 5 Curtiss Model H planes were based in Whiddy Island during 1918. Numbers. There were oh yeah, look at that, look. All the different fleet number, a Model H-16 Curtiss, they were all built by the Curtiss Airplane and Motor Company at Buffalo, New York. Jesus. So that's where we're heading. Of course, then you had the Whiddy, what was called the Whiddy disaster. So on Monday, the 8th of January 1979, a French tanker, the Betel Guys, was it? Unloading a cargo of crude oil at the terminal when it suddenly exploded. The blast and subsequent fire killed 50 people. It was known as the Whiddy Island disaster, and it's considered to be one of the worst maritime disasters in Irish history. The terminal, which had been operational since 1969, was never fully repaired. Jesus. Homemaker, thank you very much indeed for the gifted sub. Right, well, let's go up here and check it out. Autopilot, off, rolling right now. It's a fascinating place. Sounds a lot like Texas. It's a fascinating place. Bossman Gaming, good to see you. Welcome in. So we're going to fly out over Whiddy Island, then we'll come back into Bantry, land at the airport, and then we're heading up the road. Are we all good? Are we doing okay so far? Have I bored the absolute right? Like, have you gone off to turn on, you know, Coronation Street or something? Yes, I have. Right, grand. Well, then I'm doing something right, Al. Brilliant. Right, so we're going to fly around Whiddy here, check it out, and let's see what it is, friends, we can possibly do for the sheer crack of it now, as I find a button to press. Here we go now. So your challenge, let's see if you can find any of the fortifications, and let's see, can you see the ruins of the old US Naval seaplane base? Mercenary official, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Gun batteries just about to fly over up in our 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. just directly over one of those magazines there, look. This was a heavily fortified position. Isn't it class looking? So we're currently live in the Southeast Asian server. That's as Irish as you can get. And we're also flying with Say Intentions Groupie with Skynet. There's another battery just beneath our tail there. So we're going to do a low pass over the runway, and then we'll circle back for a landing. Let's see if we can attempt to land this without causing an international incident. What could possibly go wrong? Right, not to flaps. What's the speed in the turn? Easy now. There's nothing to fear here, lads, except for everything. There's a runway. 80 odd knots, bring it back up a little bit. Quentin, good to see you, buddy. Welcome aboard. The F-14. You'd never know what you'd find flying around Ireland, you know. The F-14, they're actually built in Ireland. We didn't need them, so we gave them away to America. Yeah. No. It's a bit. I mean, it could be true, you know. Right. This is as close to a friggin' aircraft carrier you're going to get in Ireland. Easy now, Jemima. Full flap. Watch the speed. Easy. Jesus. Yay! Hold it. Hold. Ah, jeez, we're alive anyway. Brilliant. Right, we'll do a Easy now. Look at your man hopping along. Imagine seeing like an F-14 in Bantry though. You know what I mean? Forgot to save away, so I came back to say goodbye again. Kanzui, take a fierce handy, buddy. Right. So we're going to ramble now from Bantry. We're going to be heading up to Kerry. We're going to overfly Ross Castle. 22 miles away from us from here. 22 miles to the north. We bought a shag again. The lights didn't work, didn't it? Stu, I've no idea. The bots be crazy. You love doing it to Aussies? Brilliant. Did I say it was the best way to go? Well, if you go down that road there, right, and you come up to the T-junction, right, and you hang a left, right, go down that road then there's a humpty back bendy bridge, and go handy there now, lads, because you go over the stream. There's a lovely little stream there now, and there's trout in that stream, and they're giving themselves away below in the double figures. Go over the Humpty Back Bridge anyway, continue on there, maybe 5 or 6 miles or so, and you'll come to a wall. No, a forest. Alright, there's a wall inside in the forest, and then when you see that, you may turn back, you've missed your turn. Accurate, right? Black Macdeath has followed. Welcome in, buddy. Right. Let's see what happens. Toto, take it fierce handy, buddy. Have a lovely evening. Alright. Yeah. We'll go with a notch of flaps. Yeah, what he said, right? Power coming in. Off the brakes. And hopefully we can take off before we get wet. Because a local man, that's exactly how he talks. I'm telling you. Easy now. Easy. Jesus, she's giddy on the old pedals, isn't it? Oopsie daisy. Yup, you devil. Alright, flying along. We'll ramble into Bantry. Flaps in. There's a great hotel down here. It's called the Maritime Hotel in Bantry. Lovely hotel. We have stayed there. So here's Bantry town. That's supposed to be the Maritime Hotel. There's no photogrammetry here, unfortunately. Big fishing town. Right, up to the left. Most importantly, don't leave your window open, right? I tell everyone here that we in Ireland don't even understand people from Cork. Well, you know, it depends whereabouts in Cork. Like, some of the accents you hear, like my accent, I have a very calm Irish accent. Says you. Well, trust me, my accent is a mix of Dublin, Kerry, Tipperary, Kildare, right? The lads from Dublin now, well, they have a Dublin accent. They talk like that a lot bit faster. They're able to make more meaning of the words coming out of their mouth, right? And then you have, of course, then you have Owl Muse, hey, up there now, kind of, you know, County Louth, hey. Here I grew up beside Weston. Oh, Darby Kennedy, I knew him well. He used to let me go up in the rally, yeah, the Cicada rally. In return for cleaning planes. Years later, I learned how to fly aerobatics there in the Yak 52. When was that? I did a flight with Darby. Lovely man. My mother did a flight with Darby. My mum did, this is years ago, my mum got a flying lesson some Christmas or birthday or something, right? And we went down to Weston, and Darby was there, and they got into the rally, and off they went. A Sukkata rally, right? Anyway, when they were out flying over Lucan, there was a police chase, and Darby had me mother flying, and he was able to radio into the cops where the car was going. You couldn't invent it, like in Ireland, you know. Brilliant. Hey, Newfoundland, good to see you, buddy. Tipperary is a real place, yeah. 1997. So in 97, I was what? I was 12. Yeah, I'd have been up there that neck of the woods. Is that when the Dakota was up there, Hiram? Skytrace, yeah. So that was when the fire crew, well, did the fire crew get in there? A couple of years later, the fire crew went in there. The Air Corps got a little bit more involved. But there used to be, they had the, Jesus, in 97, they had the Skymaster, didn't they? Captain Apurva, a very good evening to you, welcome in. Your house is right at the end of the runway. Oh, no way. It's all built up now, isn't it? Yeah, my mum in a car to chase. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Darby was brilliant. He was a great, he was a great flight instructor. He was one of those old school pilots. If it had wings, he'd get it to fly, you know, the kind of a way. Lovely, lovely man. Yeah, he passed away some years ago, but a lovely, lovely man. The Wrinkly Ninja, great name. Welcome aboard, thanks for the follow. Wrinkly Ninja, love it. Right. We're going to be flying over some beautiful mountains now. But yeah, it's a Carter Rally. I guess they were ancient. You'd have seen these flying before. The ones in Weston, there's an old one from Weston, look. Jesus. Bloody hell, that's for sale right now. 17,500 euros for nothing. That's the Rally look. And you're probably looking at it going, nah, not for me. They were great for looking out, right? Not so great to look in, you know. She had slats on it as well, slats and flaps, right? It's 17.5 grand. That's crazy. What does she have avionics wise? Tires are shagged. What's the avionics like in it? Doesn't show? Oh no, there is. Whoa, hold on now. Right, what do we have? Terribly, terribly old stuff is what we have. There's Janine, of course, looking happy out. A transponder, an ADF. That's your throttle there. There's your mixture. It's a stick. You have a throttle on the side, two throttles, right, left and right. Very similar to the Robin. 17,500. Jesus. Doesn't look safe enough. They're very good. You knew Derby in 1985 onwards. Ah, that's awesome. Yeah, he's a lovely man. Jesus. I used to go down to Weston when I was 7, 8, 9 years of age. A lot of the Air Corps technicians used to go down to Weston a half day on a Wednesday and on a Saturday, and they were actually getting their pilot license, the civilian one. So they'd be working as aircraft technicians during the week, and they go down to Weston, build up their hours, and then they got their CFIs, and then they were hour building, and then should they go off then work with Aer Lingus or Ryanair or any of those, you know. Does she come with the price? The west of Ireland, some of the best scenery in Europe. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Very simple to fly. And I had slats. Yeah. Slats in that. They were very stable in the air. Lovely airplane to fly. Anyone who's flown in a Cicada Rally have always said beautiful airplane to fly. They were relatively safe. They were also relatively very slow. I mean, they didn't exactly light the house on fire, but you know, they were nice. Jeez, this is very nice here, lads. Look at this. Beautiful. So out here to our left-hand side, we have Kenmare. We've just rambled into Kerry. Kerry is the kingdom, where an inch is a mile, and a rose is a beautiful girl. Kerry are usually the punchline of many Irish jokes. You know, did you ever hear of the Kerry man invention? A life jacket for a fish, an underwater hairdryer, a joystick that's sad, a sunroof without a roof, a glass hammer, a doorbell on a submarine. Do you know? Hazza, good to see you. Airplane Heaven made a rally for FSX. Oh, did they super tie? Ooh. What aircraft am I most excited for this year? I'm looking forward to that Rockwell Commander. I can't wait for the Phenom. I'm looking forward to the TriStar. A handbrake for canoe. Very good, Surly Dev. A handbrake for the canoe. An ashtray and a motorcycle. Yep. You get the idea, you know. Brilliant. And of course, a waterproof sponge. Yes. Mozzie, old Mozzie, yes, I'd love the Mosquito. SWS have their Kodiak coming on the 27th. Nice. Nice. Now. Bit of tunage now, lads. As I say, just sit back and think of Ireland. Come on, Adam, get those shoes on quick. If you are watching us on another platform, just rumble on over to Twitch. Just for a few minutes. So the tallest mountain in Ireland, Carrontool. Stick it on there, Tony. So on our left-hand side, that is the peak of Carrontool. Derek, I have. It's very good. No, not Karen's Tool. Carrontool. Cerberus, welcome in. Hiram, is it Leitrim or Longford? I think it's Longford, isn't it, by the railway station? sure would you look. So we're about to approach Killarney, as we just flew around by Carrontool. So we have other aircraft. These are multiplayer aircraft, so you can fly along with us. It's a group flight. So yeah, we get a good few pilots flying with us. It's pretty cool, right? Hey, Silver's here. Good to see you. So if you'd like to fly along with us, we're live in the Southeast Asian server using multiplayer. We're also live with Say Intentions using Groupie. So you have a couple of different ways in which you can fly along, and you're most welcome to. So we're going to circle around here. Ross Castle is coming up on our right side. We have eyes on. Right, let's check out the views here, lads. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Dougal McTavish in with 61 months. A very good evening to you, sir. Thank you very, very much indeed. Hope you're well, mate. Welcome in. Absolutely friggin' gorgeous. Right, hang on. We're going to get a little bit creative here because, well, you know what I'm like. So bear with us now for just a moment. I'm going to press two buttons. I'll turn them back on. Don't be worrying. But I want to do something here real quick. So let me see. We'll beat the Janie then. Pause him. Where's this now? Hide that gadget. Hide that. Hide this. Right? Would you have one of these? Give it a second now. Give it a second now. Because we'll go in and explore. You have to go in and explore because the history here, lads. Do you know? Jay-Z's talking about history again. Right. Yeah, we'll do one of these. Right? This sort of movement right here. Right, now, are you ready? We'll do one of those with one of these. Let's see here now. Sure, Jesus, would you look? Where would you get it? Look at the state of this. Jesus. Where is this now? If I press a button over here, look, this could work. Like, it's a flight sim, right?
Hello there. Isn't it only gorgeous?
Like, where would you get it? Absolutely freaking gorgeous, so it is. So Ross Castle. Isn't it terribly pretty? Right. We'll go back in here and turn on the stuff again. Let me see. Online. Oh, Jesus, though. Multiplayer. Here we go. Go back. Let it all load in. Back into the airplane. Oh, Jesus. Right. It's all alive. Brilliant. Yeah, so it came with the... was it World Update 13? I think it was World Update 13. Or maybe it was later than that. There was an Irish UK update after the first one. You know what I mean? But it's very pretty down here. Down with the Killarney Lakes. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. Hey, Hermit something. Very good afternoon. Portuguese Air Force still use the Chipmunk as a trainer? What? No way. That's awesome. The final World Update of 2020. Yeah. So, there we have it. Ross Castle. So we'll continue to fly over Killarney. We're going to head up now to Farranfore, which is the home of Kerry International Airport. Me, Carla, was looking at flight radar the other day. You saw MacCarthy in the Philippines. Ooh. So I do have this MacCarthy. It's all right. There's a great one in X-Plane. Battle of Britain flight have chipmunks for training. Yeah. Are we flying to Lelystad? No. No, we're going to go and... so our flight tomorrow, we're flying around Ireland tomorrow. We're going to be heading out. We'll be flying around Dublin, then we're going to head out to the west coast. I suppose we'll have to go to RD just to keep Musefan happy. And then we'll get our way back to Dublin. And then we're going to fly a 737 out of Dublin over to Lelystad. That is the mission for tomorrow, lads, on our St. Patrick's Day stream. So we're kicking off at 3 o'clock Zulu, 1500 Zulu, and we'll ramble on till whenever. Do you know? So we're just 8 miles south of Kerry. This tends to be an airport in the sim. I do a lot of kind of testing and training and learning things. This airfield. You not be wanting more practice in an Airbus? We'll do that on Thursday. It's badly needed, Malky. We do Croagh Patrick. Yeah, we're going to head up the Cliffs of Moher, up around Croagh Patrick, Achill Sound, back in that way. And I'm thinking now we're going to fly maybe the Alouette out to Sally Gap and come back in. Then maybe the Fuga up over to RD High. Might take the Caravan then for the spin out to the west. And then it'll be a Boeing out of Dublin. It's a day of flying. That's what we're doing tomorrow. Purely similar to what we're doing tonight, but we're going to some different areas tomorrow. We're going to focus primarily kind of Dublin, over to Clare, north of Shannon, up into County Mayo, maybe touch a bit of Sligo, and then back across. I don't know what the forecast is to be. What's the weather to be like tomorrow? It's to be raining. Brilliant. So we'll have to use, Micheál Martin giving an interview on Fox. Micheál Martin. Micheál. I think I heard Fuga. Yeah, Frank, we're going to fly a Fuga. Looking forward to it. Full on day. Full on day. So what I'm hearing is I'm going to have to take a day off work. Miss GBHI, I think you should take the day off work tomorrow. However, it won't be like my normal 11 o'clock in the morning stream. It'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that'll be... What's up, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock your time? So you won't need to be up before your breakfast, do you know? But it's going to be more of the same. We're going to go exploring different places. I'll share with you any knowledge I have and just general places I know and I visit. Particularly nice for folks who haven't been here before as we fly around Dublin. And I'm looking forward to it. Oral42, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, guys, I want to thank you all so very much indeed for joining us here tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the stream thus far. Just about to do our final stop here into Kerry, but I've really enjoyed this. This Landmark series has been one of my favourites so far, and we'll have more Monday night series starting soon. Next Monday, we're actually going to be doing the Flight Sim news and a recap of Flight Sim weekend. That's next Monday. Then I'm away for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back. And we'll be starting a new Monday night series then soon. So I hope you enjoyed this one, the Landmark series. On the Tales of Napoleon, right? So we'll be doing something else in a couple of weeks' time. Victorious has a stoke to visit Ireland? No way. Weather will be amazing Thursday and Friday. Ooh, nice. I told them at work I needed to take this week off for religious reasons. Did it work, Al? Yeah, we get the whole week off and you pay us overtime. It's our belief. How did that work for you? Alrighty, so this is actually an Innibills airport. And I need to ask them at FS Weekend, hey lads, how are we looking for Kerry? Because I know they are working on one. Or they said they were working on one. Where that is on the list of things, I'm unsure. But I know there's an update coming at some stage. As we get ourselves positioned here for a full stop. But yeah, well, I mean, during the summer you get it. Do you know? I got it, yeah, right. You just want to drink. There's no fooling the Aussies. You know? I say FS Weekend would be good. Yeah, Kieran, I'm looking forward to it. The TriStar, yes. Don't distract him from the TriStar. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, Murph, we'll put the TriStar on hold for your beloved Kerry. I missed that two-tone-murphy fella. He was great gas until that time he just, disappeared overnight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to FS Weekend. I'm more looking forward to catching up with people. The folks, developers, our community. I'm just looking forward to catching up with folks. And hanging out with the lads as we go for the lovely pints. Don't forget I'm a stone's throw from the airport. Yes. Is now. Any aircraft for release at FS Weekend? Well, Miltech said they're releasing their BO-105 on the 27th. That's the week after. Man alive, look at this sunset. This is gorgeous. Don't mind the fact that there's an MD-80 there. We'll sneak in underneath. Totally real. Super real right now. Can't believe how real it is. Easy now. We've loads of runway, so I don't want to touch down just yet. Yeah, that'll kind of do us. We'll aim around here. There's a touch. Easy now. Flaps in. Beautiful. Ah, look at that sunset now. Look, where would you get it? Where on earth would you get it? Ireland. That's where you'll get it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our flight tomorrow. Be a slightly longer stream. It's more to this, You'll have to miss the early part tomorrow. No worries. We'll be on for the day, so don't worry. As I said, we'll do some helo flying to start us off. Then we'll transition to the Fuga, and then we'll do a bit of maybe... I like the Caravan, and I'm hoping it'll be released by the time we're flying the Caravan for anyone who wants to pick it up. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow's stream. And again, it's a multiplayer flight, just like tonight. So if you like to fly along with us, you are more than welcome to. Any and all skill levels are welcome. Throw yourself in the deep end. It's loads of fun. I've crashed more times than I can remember, so don't worry. Just Flight will have the Fokkers for preview. Yes. Right, let us shut this machine down. All right. The non-sceneries, yeah, that's why you see them floating a few feet. There's Mr. TPHI out in our pink top, out for an evening stroll. Bit of sun on the face there now. Pink shoes as well. Jesus, can you get pink shoes? That needs its own soundtrack for Mr. TPHI. Hang on a second. Go on, start walking there. You're great, Craig. Oh, I love it. dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's fantastic. Right, you mad pack of mad people. We're back to you tomorrow, lads. I want to thank you so very much indeed for tuning in and spending your time with us this evening. That concludes our Landmark series. And yeah, it's been so much fun. It's been brilliant. And well, I want to thank you all so much for just taking part, just hanging out with us. That's what it's all about. Wherever you tuned in this evening, be it on YouTube or indeed on Twitch, and the support has been massive. We were raided left, right and centre. Just an amazing night. So thank you all so very much indeed. Try and get that out of your mind now, Mrs. GPHI. Doing her strut. That's the new soundtrack. Right, get a good long hard mental image of that there now, lads. Oh, that's fantastic. Right, I'm away. I'll see you all tomorrow at 1500 Zulu time. So until then, you take care. But the mod control, from a viewer perspective, it makes the whole thing quite negative, doesn't it? When you delete, you're sitting there and you're thinking, Jesus, this is painful to watch. This is like watching the end of Glen Rowe or this. What's the state of this?
Allow myself to introduce
Touchdown, nicely
myself.
Done. Beautiful. We were just raided by Clear to Takeoff. Look at the timing. A very good evening. Welcome aboard. Thank you so very much indeed for the raid. Good to see you, buddy. How's the training? We're just wrapping up here, but thank you very, very much indeed for the raid. We will pass the raid on. So, guys, I want to thank you so very much indeed for tuning in. And thank you for the raid. I hope you had an awesome stream. And I need to go and lie down. But we will pass on the raid and share that love. Thank you very, very much indeed. You're very kind. That song is stuck in my head now. So, right, I'm going this time for sure. But thank you very much indeed. Good luck to you.
Hello there.
Ready for this to give up? I'm a little teapot short.
Dreamy, sleepy,
and
nighty,
stout.
snoozy, snooze.
Here is me handle, and here is me spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. Ah, Jesus! Oh, stop! You see? Over there. Oh, sweet something, ah, Jesus! Medic! Look at this biggie, just Jesus! There's nothing to see. No, there's nothing to see at all. Someone has to clip that, lads. Keane Lefford came straight in. Time to turn. And we'll start advancing that mixture back in here now shortly. Come on, prop.
Sink rate.
You're all right.
Sink rate. Up. Sink rate.
Give us a bit of air in the nose there. Nearly. Come on, Betsy, you can do it. We need the wind. Oh, bother. Where you can enjoy complimentary deluxe continental breakfast daily with afternoon hors d'oeuvres and a fully stocked honour bar. Good up there. Complimentary hot and cold beverages throughout the day. Fairmount Gold combines personalised...
I'm sorry, did you just say hors d'oeuvres?
Hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres. Ah, no, I made a terrible mistake. But the mod control, from a viewer perspective,